Yeah. 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 Memories. Memories. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
Hello and howdy everyone, welcome back to CGL. My name is Crumble and I'm joined here with my lovely friend and co-host Gio here for our EUPC Master Division Grand Finals. Coconut Crew versus Nymphicus, two teams that myself and Gio have already ran into in the past and two teams that have run into each other so far in this bracket.
Yes, I mean, this is a rematch from your mid-season playoff finals, and it went 3-2 for the Coconut Crew. But let's have a little look at these brackets as we have different journeys coming in from both teams. Nymphicus are your team that got knocked into the lower bracket by their familial team of GG Chorks, but they were able to thrash them in the winners there, and come back to the grand finals, and now they're looking to get another element of revenge against the Coconut Crew tonight.
Yes, and you know, Nymphicus don't have it necessarily easy, Gio. They do have some difficult roster problems. They haven't had a tank player, I believe, for a few months, and they've been bouncing between temporary players. Today we have Rusty stepping in on tank for them, as well as Whis, who we see stepping in for them as well. So the roster is a little bit incomplete. And may have some synergy issues, but if they've been dealing with this for a while and they've made it this far, these core players of Quack and Kiso and Matador must be strong enough on their own.
Well, we'll look at Coconut Crew at the moment. Crumble, getting ahead of yourself there, mate.
I'm getting ahead of
but
myself.
yeah, Miku and James going to be there for the DPS lineup, with Noi as your resident tank player, Demeso and Neo going to be your support lineup, and this is the crew that were able to win in your mid-season finals, so you really should be expecting them to show up today. However, like you said, Nymphicus have a solid lineup as well, if not for some issues. Of course, we've talked about how they don't have a regular tank player. Rusty is coming in as a ringer and has been ringing for them regularly, so it's not like they won't be without synergy. It's just absolutely something to be aware of. iQuack and West on the DPS lineup have been very snappy in getting nice quick eliminations and really controlling the fight, where the support lineup of Kizo and Matador have been a solid foundation. But let's have a little look at the map we'll be heading into. It will be Antarctic Peninsula to start us off, Crumble.
Yeah, Antarctic Peninsula. I know how much you love talking about how our first map of Control always seems to set the pace and really show us what cards these teams are going to be playing. And I think the Antarctic Peninsula, we've been seeing a lot of it recently over the last couple of seasons of Overwatch 2, and it's got a lot of variation to it. You know, you've got sub-level, you like to see your Rhine rushes, and people like those to bunker down on the high grounds. You have, obviously, the ship one, I think, which is much more prone to kind of more hybrid. Yes, Icebreaker, that's the one. It's much more prone to kind of hybrid dives. We see a lot of Ramatra coming out on that map. And then we've seen variation between Ramatra and Monkey coming out on the other one as well. So it's prone to a lot of variation, as Control normally is.
I mean, Antarctic is a new favorite of the community for sure. These teams picking them. It's no surprise to me. Newest Control map is, I mean, it's full of penguins. How can you not pick the penguin?
How can you not say yes? Look at them. They're right below us.
Yeah, so it will be a chilly beginning to this grand finals as we begin this journey. In this first of four matchup, which team will be able to crown themselves champions here? Will it be Coconut Crew overcoming Nymphicus yet again? Or can the team of Nymphicus get their revenge in this final moment? As very shortly we'll be seeing what these teams come out here with, Crumble, but it's going to be a hell of a banger tonight.
It is indeed, and this is kind of the map where we tend to see a bit more. Variation. Some teams like to go for something a bit more sustaining, like a brawl with maybe a Marcher or a Junk Queen. Some tend to go for a dive with possibly a Bull or a Monkey. So it is all in the cards as Coconut Crew seem to tease the former, as well as Nymphicus maybe looking at something Brawler too.
Yeah, Nymphicus probably going to be going on to either Reinhardt or the Ramattra. Ramattra does tend to be the favorite at the moment, as being able to go into that Nemesis mode is going to be able to outbrawl Ryan. So Ryan doesn't have what it takes right now in the current landscape of things. The differences between these comps, however, oh, actually, no. They've swapped it up. It's a complete mirror matchup. It's going to be all about which teams can play around those Mei walls and get their Cassidys into a good enough position to utilize that Fan the Hammer and burst down the opponents as we begin here in our Masters EU Grand Finals.
It's all about getting yourself nice and up close now, Marcher, you know? You have to land those pummels as best you can, do a lot of burst damage, because it is a lot of burst damage that Archer can do close range. Already a lot of pressure coming out from Coconut Crew, and a nice opening pick onto iQuack that Mei down. Mei Wolves not have to be worried about anymore, and they can use their Mei Wolves to split up the side of Nymphicus. But look, they're down there Mei, they're going to try go nice and hard and fast.
Yeah, like you said, they want to get up nice and close, but when you don't have that Mei at the beginning, then you're just at a massive disadvantage against James, who's still alive and going to be able to blast you down with that endothermic blaster. Now, they have a pretty solid position here, not only in the map sense of things with this defense, but also in terms of the arsenal of ultimates coming up. They will be very shortly at their large win condition of a Blizzard, much more before iQuack, who went down very early there. So Coconut Crew, they have to be aware that that could come out in this next fight and use this window nice and early at a distance.
Matador has that window to place it down. Both Mei Wolves lay down onto the field. Seeing the Nemesis forms too. Kizo is down, the speed boost not available, and like you said, that Blizzard is used early, disables the window, and it's just such a good win condition for them. It just snowballs them in this point.
It literally snowballed them, yeah. I mean, Mei on Antarctic is very much at home in a map like this, yeah. Freezing them up like the terrain itself. And when we talk about win conditions, iQuack, of course, coming up to that Blizzard, but now Muay, with that Annihilation ready, Neo can also open up with the window to sustain Y when they go into that Nemesis form, 70% in control.
And there's the winner from the high ground, able to sustain their tank up on the front line, as well as create pressure, not allowing Nymphicus to go onto point. Already forced the immortality field through that window as well, so not as much survivability for the side of Nymphicus. They're going to be using that Blizzard, trying to catch out the members of Coconut Crew. They get Miku, and they get Nevo. Rusty has the Annihilation to match, and Mui's actually going to use it here.
Oh yeah, Muay had pulled the trigger on that a little earlier into that fight, but obviously when you have the Blizzard of iQuack as well, Nymphicus, well, they had to win that fight or it was over. Demeso didn't get the beat in time to sustain their team. They will have it for these upcoming fights, although Coconut Crew, they can be a little chill. They can slow down, take it at their pace, build those ultimates. Nymphicus right now, they have the high noon for space control, but it's these Lucios that can control these fights with these beats as it stands.
It's all about that beat timing. Will we see possibly a beat to sustain them from an aggressive high noon? That is exactly what we're going to see coming out. Beat landing all the members on the side of Coconut Crew. Kizo mirroring that beat. We'll see both teams in a stalemate here on the right side of the point, on that outer area. Miku nearly getting caught out there from the rest of his team, and Kizu gets that opening pick. A little bit of a misplay there. Miku going on their own little adventure, but like you said, it's okay for Coconut Crew to lose a couple fights here, as they can just build up these ultimates.
A little bit of the rope-a-dope. That was a nice little rotation there, spinning right round to the backside of Coconut Crew and taking out Miku there, who was not prepared for it in the slightest. And this final fight, it's going to be a very heavy ult usage one. A Matador can pull the trigger on the window nice and early here to try and disrupt the rotation of Coconut Crew, but both Blizzards available, no beats to sustain the team, so you really have to use this amp speed perfectly to get your team out alive.
There's that window opening up. Again, James going to be using the Blizzard to try and disable that window, but no value with it is really found here as iQuack is set up nicely. Landing from Miku doesn't find anything. Looking for it. iQuack is really trying to take their time, be patient, but now we're in last fight territory, Geo. 95 to 94%. Annihilation comes out from Moi. Rusty has it in return, and with the first pick coming through, and they just sat there on the high ground, Geo. They waited, they took their time. They let the ults come out from Coconut Crew, and then they collapse on them with ease. A
beautiful patience there shown by Nymphicus in this first point of the grand finals. Now, I want to really specify a small play there that really won that fight. iQuack blocked the Blizzard of James there with the wall. So the Blizzard was just completely out of position, and they didn't even need to use their amp to speed their team out of it because they were already out of it. Very, very intelligent play there by iQuack, which basically meant they could be as patient as they were because they knew they had that Blizzard, and the Annihilation wasn't really going to get too much done for their opponents there. And a little bit of a change up here for Nymphicus. They're keeping on their toes, and I like this. Keeping on your toes, adapting and changing up is really going to win you in a grand finals. Rusty does have to be careful how deep they go in against a Mei, against a Cassidy. It's a lot of damage for a ball to take, but of course iQuack needs to get as much damage as he can, as much spam to set up Rusty and Wisp for those dives and take out those squishy targets of Coconut Crew.
Yeah, with them all stacked together, you can see the spam damage already coming through, lamp forced early. Rusty does get taken out nice and early, though. Like you said, the Mei War and the freeze, the slowdown of that Mei is able to be utilized nicely to take Rusty out of the fight early. And because they have that more brawly nature, close range, able to get the point count quickly as Nymphicus look to regroup.
Yeah, Rusty does have to really watch it, especially if you're pile driving in, because that's you locking yourself in for a moment. I think they'd be better served just swinging through for now, trying to get as much damage with the swing as they can to get those mines. iQuack, look at this, 88% to the barrage, could get it right now.
It's going to be Matador that opens things up. They do have the barrage they want it, but some really key picks coming through nice and early means that they don't have to really invest much if they want to get this point capture. 3 still remaining. They're actually going to commit the beat here, Gio. Core on point, fighting it out against the spam that is Nymphicus here. But yeah, with, I mean, just the bodies that you don't have, it's just going to be overwhelming. As they're still holding on to the point, but the picks are coming through for Nymphicus, and they will likely get the flip.
Yeah, well, you've traded your beat for about 10% of control there, so it's up to you whether that's good enough. I would personally have liked to see Demetso hold on to it. Not for this barrage. Beat's not very good for barrage, but for Matador's Kitsune Rush. That's going to be something that really amplifies Wisp in an upcoming fight, but I think it will be the Pulse Bomb to open up, or this barrage.
Laid down, gets the Immortality filled.
Opportunity.
So that is gone. Barrage is definitely going to be able to get a lot more value, but with Kizo gone, that kind of leaves iQuack alone in the skies. But that's not really going to matter at all, Gio, as they get a pick, but it's just the collapsing damage from Nymphicus that is just so brutal.
Yeah, it's those rotations. You know, now that they have the opportunity to set up first now, you know, they're just getting pushed about as they try and enter Coconut Crew, that is. And even if they do get an initial pick, like onto Kizo, they're still struggling to push through. iQuack, of course, going to be looking for this barrage. You don't be holding on for too long. That's another thing. Both teams have 50% control, looking for barrage, looking for Kitsune Rush. Demetso doesn't have beat for either of those.
Yeah, Coconut Crew have to go aggressive with these ultimates, open up with the window, but there's the Blizzard. The barrage comes out, but not so much avail. Looked like all that damage kind of went onto the Ramattra there, who does have that armor health. But again, the collapsing damage, the multiple angles, just seems to take Coconut Crew by surprise almost every single time they use the Annihilation. And look how many ults they committed here, Gio, just for that flip.
Yeah, I mean, it was a heavy fight. Both teams invested everything pretty much apart from the Pulse Bomb. But of course, that does mean Demetso gets time to build up this beat. That Sound Barrier is going to be really helpful in these later percentage fights, Crumble, especially against the likes of the mines, which Rusty is building up slow and steady, and that can really split things up for Coconut Crew.
Yeah, Juju already used. They're really trying to disable Rusty as best they can,
Oh.
and they're ignoring the skies. Quack raining justice from above, and Whis has found Demeso, which means that beat is not available. They can't hold on to this point, even if they'd like to. They do have the lead in percentage, but we're ticking closer and closer to the last fight territory.
Every time I talk about their win condition ultimates, they just win with their pure neutral game of that spam. I mean, iQuack's been incredible with this Pharah. I mean, has had the pocket, of course, but yeah, consistently landing missiles. Y has swapped over to the Winston for a bit of a more panicked fight, but this is going to allow them to get onto the point a little quicker. Still need to watch out for iQuack, who's just pummeling damage from this guy.
I'm watching for these mines from Rusty, looking to split off the team. They're not able to rotate properly. B comes through. Rusty is low. If they can find the follow-up and take the ball out of the fight, that's a lot of pressure negated. They do take out Matador, and iQuack will soon follow. The High Noon was used well there, but Rusty's still alive. He's booped Miku into his mines. The flip has come through. It's a ball against the world here. But it just doesn't seem good enough. As James now back on this Tracer has done a great job at sustaining the point. And they managed to get the win in this round over Nymphicus, but it looked rough a lot of the time for Coconut Crew there.
Yeah, I like that snappy adaptation at the end to go for the Winston. Allows the tank of Mai to just get through there without taking that spam. They were really struggling to get through there, but ultimately their way of holding in against that barrage, a lot of it was down to the positioning of the Immortality field that came in from, I believe it was Neovo. The way that was positioned meant that the barrage and the rest of the damage just wasn't getting any eliminations for long enough for them to equalize the fight. Now we're going to head to another mirror matchup, and of course, Nymphicus did do well here. Momentum, though, is on the side of Coconut Crew on the left there. Mirror matchup, let's see who gets the better of it. More narrow corridors, you need to watch for these walls.
If our first round told us anything, we know how good Coconut Crew can be at this, as already so much damage coming through. And when you use that lamp first, you lose your survivability, and that shows its due diligence perfectly in this fight as Nymphicus take the win and the point.
Yeah, the aggressive position of Rusty was sort of like a bait. The way they were positioned, the wall couldn't really lock them off completely, so it was kind of like a, yeah, come and get me. But they didn't know that the counterpunch was ready and waiting. Nymphicus are very good at that. And just look at the ult percentage difference between Y and Rusty right now.
God.
I don't need to say anything other than just amplifying how important that is. They're going to have Annihilation in the second fight already, if they even want to use it, even need to use it.
Already the push coming through, and Rusty might just have to use it, or might not even be able to. There's so much damage now with this Bastion. Miku can shred down the health of Rusty. They're taking this high ground positioning. Trade come through, you take the Mei for the Lucio. One team is going to be having their Mei to be able to fortitude down still, and one isn't going to be able to maneuver around as much as they could previously. Miku is just doing God's work on this Bastion. Has found 4 in this fight already. Make it a 5k on Bastion. Great adaptation from Coconut Crew.
Outstanding stuff. Miko just bringing out the old and tried classic of that Bastion. We see it a lot. I mean, it's just a lot of just output damage from that pure neutral of the character, and already has their ult if they want to split up the rotation of Nymphicus, who had no chance to even use the Annihilation. Both Blizzards are going to be ready for this fight. It's going to be a big, heavy slobber knocker, but you have to watch for the turret mode of Miko.
Get ready for some visual clutter, folks, as both Blizzards come through. Which one will take precedence as 2 full, one from either team? Moy not quite for the Annihilation. Rusty hasn't been able to really find any picks with it, as was kind of stranded up there on the high ground, as Moy made a slaughterhouse of the teammates of him. Anoon coming from the high ground. Whis looking for picks, but it just doesn't look like things are going in the way of Nymphicus right now, as a nice rotation of Coconut Crew's ultimates are able to negate anything that Nymphicus throw down.
Yeah, this Bastion choice has really kind of destabilized Nymphicus. I think they need to take a moment to talk about how they're fighting this Bastion, and part of it is just baiting out that turret mode, playing from afar, and then going in once that turn mode is out of it, because of course Cassidy is much better than the core mode of Bastion rather than the turn mode in that mid fight.
Oh, had to use the immortality field there in order to negate that ultimate. And yeah, you can see they have to commit the beat. They want to go in nice and aggressive, but that Bastion is great at tearing down health. Kizo on the brunt of that has to try and wall right away. And the beat gone, survivability non-existent as James now approaches this Blizzard. You now have nothing to counteract against it. And a wonderful rotation yet again. They bait out the beat early and utilize the Blizzard. And we're approaching our last fight territory, Gio. This might be it for Antarctic Peninsula.
Yeah, not only did Miku bring out the Bastion, but I think they brought the WD-40 out because they've completely wiped Rusty off of the map. And Coconut Crew, with a nice little change of aggression there, really took it with a solid Magic Clump. They're going to be opening up this Grand Final Series with a point in their favor. And yeah, here is one of the maids just getting lots of value. This was the first fight there. The only fight that Nymphicus were able to win in that particular map. Once that Bastion came out, they just really struggled. But that just goes to show, you know, adaptation is the word. Sticking to your guns all the time in the grand finals isn't exactly what you want to do all the time, because these teams are going to be prepared for it, right? Whether they've seen you or they've played against you, they have an idea of what you're good at. They have a good feel of what's happening. So you bringing out something like a Bastion, you saw it. Nymphicus were just destabilized. They didn't know what to do. Those fights got sloppy. Those fights got prolonged and just back and forth, right? You know, it's hard to follow sometimes. But you know, I think now Nymphicus, they can center themselves, prep for that, and I think their Pharah composition has a lot of potential. So now that it's their map choice, you could imagine taking us to a map that benefits the Pharah, benefits even an Echo, and take to the skies and continue that reign of dominance. So there's plenty of options for them.
Yeah, I think you're right about that WD-40, because I was going to say, I mean, Coconut Crew look like a well-oiled machine right now. I think, if anything, the last fight shows us how well they were playing together. I did say it during when it happened, but I would just want to emphasize it again. They forced out. Well, they forced out because they didn't have the immortality field. Nymphicus in that last fight territory had to use the beat to be nice and aggressive, and they read that, and we saw Coconut Crew kite back a little bit with that Bastion damage. They were able to walk back, take the space, and they walk right back in with Blizzard, and it just immediately wins them a fight. So very synergized. And I think you're right. Nymphicus needs to maybe look to go onto some more spam-y maps. But Gio, I don't think that's really the case. I think we're going to see a little bit more brawl as we look to move on to King's Row.
I mean, you can still bring out a Pharah, right? There's reasons to pick King's Row. The obvious reason is because you want to play Brawl. And
Yeah.
Nymphicus, they did take one of those points there in a situation where it was all about the rotations, and they really brought it back. So I think they could be confident in just going straight Brawl for Brawl, Ramatra to Ramatra on King's Row. But it could also be baiting a Brawl out from the side of Coconut Crew to bring in the Pharah or the Echo. But I think the Pharah from iQuack, I would like to see them build up on it more, because that was just the pure neutral output of iQuack there. I mean, the duck definitely out of the pond and taken to the sky, and raining down damage, which is definitely not something you want to take from E-Duck.
Yeah, that's a very different shift from the waters up in the skies. I don't think ducks? Yeah, ducks can fly, but they don't go up that high. iQuack is soaring way above any ducks that I've ever seen.
The prime duck.
The prime duck, the best duck.
Alpha Duck.
I mean, they were playing primarily, Ramatra. We could maybe see them going on to King's Road because they want to force the Rhine, which is definitely a lot more comfortable. On there, it is just really straight brawl rather than any kind of pokey hybrid stuff. But we will have to see coming onto King's Row if they're going to be looking to maybe, like you say, run something more Pharaoh-oriented. Or maybe they're saying, okay, we did play the Ramatra brawl. We did play close range styles of compositions. Maybe we want to keep this going and prove to everyone that we can step up to Coconut Crew in that regard.
Yes, Coconut Crew looking to make it a definitive win for themselves. Nymphicus looking to equalize and bring the competition here. We don't like any curses. And both sides actually bringing something that isn't quite wrong. Coconut Crew on the defense here, coming out with that Ash Tracer to create a flanking DPS to set up nicely for the space of Miku so they can like rain down fire. No damage amp, however, as you have that Ana Kriko. That's a very sturdy backline there and will create the win condition of the Nano Winston or even a Nano James, but I doubt we'll see that. Nymphicus, on the other hand, with a very tried and true Ramatra composition here. I crack with a TP. Not entirely sure what the plan will be here.
Goofy afoot, possibly, Gio? Something goofy might be afoot.
There's some goofiness around here.
Oh, yes, there is.
Oh.
They TP onto the high ground, and Coconut Crew didn't see it coming. We questioned it. But the sim cleaning up, iQuack with the creative plays we love to see, and I mean, I'm not going to complain about that, Gio. I mean, a great creative play opens things up nicely here for Nymphicus on King's Row.
Scouted, countered, and applied. This is a team that wants to beat Coconut Crew. They have VOD reviewed. They knew exactly where Demeso was standing, and they went right for them. And look at this, 40 seconds, 5 minutes. It's a whole lot of time, and Nymphicus are already swapping on their composition. They're coming here prepared. They have a textbook.
They got
Crumble.
a spreadsheet. They've got everything ready. They've got everything ready.
Yeah, pushing through into second. Sorry, Crumble. But yeah, you have to watch the Formula in the backline. It's Demeso who opens, though.
It's just so flustered, Gio. It's just such a wonderful showing so far from Nymphicus. Yeah, Demeso did find a nice early pick. You love to see that from the Arners. Kizo finding a nice, lovely nade there onto Neo. So have to kite back is Coconut Crew. They don't have a lot of sustain at the moment, and they're down bodies. Nymphicus coming back in, and meanwhile the payload do be moving.
And it's a juggler's game here between the backlines. It's about landing anti-nades and cleansing anti-nades for these Karikos as Matador just gets out alive. And Wisp finds the Meso Crumble. They're just up keeping this. They could get 3rd point with an incredible time back.
Yeah, no nades for Coconut Crew in this fight, as Wisp shows us a great showing so far on the Tracer. Has to be forced out the recall. Pulse bomb lays down by James. Here's the one from Wisp, doesn't find anything. But James has been taken out by Matador. Love to see the Kirikos getting those nice headshots. Really trying to get on point. Has the Primal and charged up quicker, but it's just burst down so quickly. And Gio, they cast the Kasune Rush, but after the point had already been capped.
Yeah,
oh boy.
they thought they could keep it up, but
minutes.
Just at that moment, you have 5.5 minutes already. Blink and you'll miss it if you're just getting back from a bio break, folks. You did not miss a lot of time, but you missed a lot of action. Both Nanos ready. Those Winstons prepare to go nice and deep. Will it be Moai or Rusty getting the advantage?
Yeah, and you see they're looking for the trades in the backline. We'll see which Winston mechanics really prove over the others. Rusty's already found Miku, so that's a lot of that front range damage alleviated. The backline can rest easy now that that Sojourn is nailed into the ground, but here's the Primal coming out. Demes has been taken out. Rusty's maneuvering around. He's got the schmoves. He's got the monkey schmoves. He's dancing around. Primal has been cast as well by Mui, but just not as much value from it.
Said it was going to be a Juggler's game, but I didn't quite realize how Balls had it right there. Whisk continuing with strength. Rush.
It's place down on point. They now have the Reaper, which I do like for this overtime fight, but it's just not enough. And the point, Gio, it clocks in at 4 minutes 30. We doubted Nymphicus coming on to King's Row on a more brawl-centered map, something that we were worried about for them, but it did not matter. They knew exactly what they were doing. See, that time remaining, they just gained time. They don't lose any time whatsoever. And I mean, my jaw is on the floor. Yeah, quite frankly.
This, kids, is why you study.
That's why you do your homework.
Yeah, showing up prepared is half of what this was. Half of this entire setup in Kings Row was just knowing what Coconut Crew were doing. They knew exactly where to place the TP, to collapse down on the Ana, and just roll through them. And they immediately swapped their comp. Incredible stuff. Nymphicus know exactly how to play against Coconut Crew right now, and if Coconut Crew haven't done their VOD reviews, then they might be a little shook here, because if they come out with their regular rotations, what does Nymphicus have for them? One of the things they have is the Sojourn. They're keeping that second composition that they had. Monkey on the front line there, and of course keeping that sturdy backline. Coconut Crew looking at that Kitsune rush as a win condition alongside the Lucio, bit more of a banana rush situation. The comp was very strong at the beginning of Overwatch 2 and in the beta, as James looks for a little bit of a sneaky pick, actually gets hit himself, and here we have it. Yeah, just a straight up classic monkey rush coming out from Coconut Crew.
The Kiriko Lucio, they need to be a little bit more brawly. They can't really afford to dive in as much. They don't have really good sustain for that long range like they do with Kizo being on that Ana, throwing in the nades, supporting their monkey, trying to take out Moai, landing all them shots. Yeah, Moai's forced out already, and you can see that pressure as well from the Sojourn. Iquack doing a great job pressuring that front line out. Dive onto the high ground, but it's going to be Nevo opening things up.
Yeah, and now you've lost your healing, but you still have an Ana, so you still have a solid way to be aggressive.
Yeah, and it's going to be the Ana that's aggressive. Thank you very much, Gio. Take that to the bank. Miku taken out, and Rusty will follow up on that pressure without a doubt. And we're seeing the dive coming out. They traded Kizo. One's doing a great job of trying to keep the engage going, trying to pressure the backline, and it might be, I don't know, it might be winnable here for Coconut Crew, but they just seem to be holding down so strong, Nymphicus.
Yeah, I called it a sturdy backline, and you're seeing why now. Even if you lose one of them, Kiza was able to upkeep Rusty Balls a lot more than Neo and Demeso were for Moai. I think Lucio is struggling to find too much team value here, but once they get onto those nice rotations here, let's see a little bit more.
Yeah, already cooldowns forced, and that amp is going to be really necessary in these fights, but also our picks, Neo. Leave us alone. The man has a family, a wife and children. Let him rest easy. Diving onto the high ground as well. I mean, Moi's really pressuring on the backline as much as we would like to see, forcing those cooldowns. And although it took some time to get started up, the engine of Coconut Crew is a revving on King's Row.
Yeah, well, once you realize how vulnerable Kizo is, you just go for them time and time again. Why really noticing that there. Now, Kizo isn't swapping. I got that nano, so it'd be a silly thing to do anyway. Lots of win conditions here for both sides. The real difference maker here is who can take the initiative, because they have plenty of ults to throw around.
Nano boost onto Matador is an interesting choice. The beat definitely from Demeso is going to help this push, and they use Kitsune Rush as well. They really want to use these support ults to be nice and aggressive. No time for defense, thank you very much. But although, you know, we saw a questionable Nano opening up that fight, it seems like Nymphicus just have the follow-up that Coconut Crew do not.
Yeah, my Rusty Balls went very deep there, but Moai still continues to get some value there with their own Primal. There's fights all over the place. It's like a team deathmatch.
It is indeed. I mean, Moai, we've been talking a lot about Rusty, but is just really good at living in the backline and sustaining engages. They did it in the previous point, and they're doing it now. Overclock coming out for space. And yeah, just to continue that snowball that we're seeing so far.
And snowball is the word. You really need to upkeep this strength if you want to get a time bank that isn't too different from Nymphicus. Obviously, you won't be able to match it at this rate, but you will be able to get something that's within a minute or two. Nymphicus, however, they have a lot of win conditions here. Iquac likely to open up with that overclock, look for those squishy shots, get those headshots, and take down the side of the Coconut Crew.
I love that read, blinking straight towards where you know the monkey is going to jump. Didn't quite land the sticky bomb, but alas, still a good read nonetheless. We're seeing taking their time here, Coconut Crew. They're looking to regroup, but with Miku being taken out nice and early, like I've said, these Sojins, they're so good at applying pressure to that front line. Kizo and Matador can now breathe. They have a Casino Rush in the mid-fight if they want to use it, but it looks like just the aggressive nature of the front line will do them justice.
I love that. Like, I really want to break that down for you now, because they had a lot of ultimates that could win them that fight very easily, but Nymphicus, they played it slow. They knew they had an advantage because Moai had to back up, so they didn't utilize those ultimates. They just kept going in the neutral. Now they can set up Iquac in a beautiful position wherever they want to rain down terror upon the attacking side of the Coconut Crew, who have 2 minutes, or they can use Rush like this.
They can do indeed. They do still have that overclock if they want it, but they're being so damn reserved about it. Pushing in nice and aggressive, using that space. A good kite from Coconut Crew, who do have their own Casino Rush they can respond with in this fight.
Yeah, well, Demeso is going to get back fairly soon enough, and uh-oh, you've lost that potential to utilize that overclock.
You've traded it for your Tracer, though, so overclock is going to be gone. You're suffering. Your front line is not going to be as good as diving, but the Casino Rush will fix that nicely, and we're seeing Nymphicus having to be the ones to kite back now. Prime will utilize, tried splitting the team up, so they're not able to make use of the Casino Rush. With Kizo being taken out, they don't have as much sustain. Nice stick to no avail, so Nymphicus have to look for a soft regroup here if they can re-enter this fight and stop them from capping second.
They have to be really careful on how they regroup, because they really need to get another touch here to utilize these ultimates effectively and hold on to second point, sorry. 1 minute remaining. Can Coconut Crew cap here? Nymphicus even touch?
Good touch from Wistem. Oh, but they don't manage to get the retouch. They commit the Nano as well onto Matador again, which is... Maybe these are saving Nanos. Maybe I'm not noticing these, Gio, but it seems like Matador's been nanoed both times in the defense so far, so I'm not sure what's up with that.
Moai really came up strong there. That Primal Rage juggled the opposing Winston of Rusty just away. They couldn't touch, which meant West had to use the recall and couldn't keep it up. Very strong stuff there from Coconut Crew. Miku looking to take control of this high ground. The central high ground going to be basically what wins it for them. If they can get a good overclock here and put Iquac in a very negative position, you see Rusty fighting for it, but booped away there.
Both overclocks are really what we're going to be looking at here in this fight, Gio, as they are going to be able to be utilized on these long sightlines on third point to take the space. That space is going to be able to claim Demeso as well as Matador. Both backlines split in twine as we look to see this fight kind of resustain itself. Bit of a brawl here.
Talking about twine, twice the time bank right now Nymphicus have. That's even if Coconut Crew can actually capture the entirety of King's Row. We're at 1 minute here. We're at 1 or 2 fights remaining. Coconut Crew, they will have this Kitsune Rush in this fight if they want it.
Ooh, can't quite finish off Mai, who again just lives in these dives, Joe. I don't know how he's doing it. Rossi does trade out Miku for it, which is a good trade. They have committed the rush both sides though, and all that the defense really has is that Primal Rage to try and sustain this fight. Iquac now on that Bastion. They can nano the Bastion if they so please. Iquac has found one, Gio. Can they find more?
Yeah, the Bastion at the rear end of this match. It's what happened to them, and call it the Uno Reverso card, because it is actually working, or has worked. And like you said, the Nano's ready. I actually think putting it onto Rusty is still the better choice, because that turret mode can be kited away from. Whereas if Rusty just goes into the back line and deals with Nuovo or Miku, then that's a different story.
Don't talk smack about Iquac, Joe. He's opening up these fights. Do not talk smack about my boy. Nano applied onto Rusty. is going to force the beat from Demeso. Slept up is Moai, who has the Primal if they so please to use it. James has used that beat to be able to push in nice and aggressively and take out iQuack quickly. Whis has the Pulse Bomb, staying on point, looking for the stick, lays it down, doesn't find anything. It's all up to the defense here to try and get a win if they need it. They do have a healthy time bank, but you can see they still want to try and just finish King's Row here.
They finished it, but now their best case scenario is drawing it. That was great from the defense there to bring it in to overtime and make it basically a lose-lose scenario. Not saying that they can't draw it, but I'm just saying one tick is all Nymphicus need, and they have 4 minutes 30 seconds to do so. That's more time than you get at the first attack. So the thing is, though, actually, now I think about it,
Yes.
Nymphicus they've played their cards. They did that TP that blitzed Coconut Crew and shocked them. Coconut Crew surely are going to be ready and prepared
Surely
for that
Demeso doesn't
possibility.
sit on that high ground. If Demeso sits on that high ground, it is over for King's Row. I'm sorry. If they don't read that they're going to do that again. I mean, they could do.
I mean, I don't think they will. I actually don't think they
I
will.
really
I think
wish
they're just
I
going to
want
come
them
out
to.
here because, like, all you need to do is play slow, get ultimates, and Q dump. Like, there doesn't need to be too much strategy. But also, time and time again, I've seen teams take it too relaxed. They take it too slow, and they drain all their time and get into an overtime fight that's just not in their favor. So let's have a little look what Nymphicus can do here. They bring out the Sombra. If they can get one elimination. That's what this is all about. One elimination. One hack
And then that's
target
it.
followed by the jump of Rusty or the follow-up of Whis, just to get one elimination and destabilize the defense.
Yeah, that is all they need. And you can see how careful the defense is. They're setting up there on a high ground. They've got the rest of the core stacked underneath that archway. And it'll be James that opens up things nicely. Has been consistent on the Tracer so far, and it's been really a great duel between them and Whis. And like you said, Nymphicus, they're taking it slow. They're going to reset. They don't want to commit anything.
Miko needs to be careful where they're using these recon arrows also, because using them for the Sombra is the best way to utilize them, I would say, to try and nullify what iQuack can do. I mean, they're already struggling. They have very little ult percentage.
Looking to collapse upon the back line, which is looking to rotate onto that high ground position, which can be great to enable these engages from Rusty if they want to go that direction. That route. Kizo approaching the nanos is up to really the Arnas here to charge up those ultimates and cast them onto their monkeys nice and early.
Hack onto Hanzo, no follow-up though. The rest of the team is otherwise disposed. Miku, 1 HP.
Oh, caught out iQuack so well, getting the headshot. Nano is on Rusty, has found 2. Can just the monkey win out King's Row here already? Looks like
Both are
again,
trying to do so.
yes, both are trying this. Neo is close to this Casino Rush, which is going to be great at being cast out on its point, keeping the fight going and keeping the fight alive. But and yeah, I mean, Neo, you can cast that Rush with all your might now. The Pride alone will power your team to victory. A nice pick there. And the Dragon to make them kite back. I think they might be falling into the trap that you set for them here, Gio, which is that they're taking it too slow.
Kunai to the head, fist to the body. That's all that Rico needs to take down Whis on the Tracer. iQuack has realized that the Sombra ain't working. Went to the now Echo. That's going to supply a lot of damage. Why? Use this final. I need to use it defensively. That could be an opening here for Nymphicus again!
No! Oh, poor Whis. He's been trying to set up that pulse bomb 2 fights in a row. Leave the man alone, but I mean, I think Coconut Crew's fears are set in stone now, Gio, as Nymphicus look to charge up a healthy ult bank.
Yes, and they can come in here with this Kitsune Rush, really control the point. They have to watch for Miku though. They can't let him be completely uncontested. Oh,
Oh no, the pulse bomb caught the bubble there, but there's the opening quick we were talking about, Gio, and the Kasuna Rush on point. Whis has been eliminated again, and actually the Meso in the backline has found the supports. It could be salvageable here for Coconut Crew if they can get the bodies on point. But Matador, we've talked about Neo, let's let the other Kiriko shine. And that'll be Nymphicus shining their way to victory here on King's Row, evening our score out 1-1.
Yeah, with the red flag and a sturdy kunai, Matador able to bait in the opponents and get themselves a play of the game as well. Might just be that final fight. Yes, it is. Yeah, incredible stuff there from Matador to really hold up the attack. But yeah, kind of running into the wall a few times there from Nymphicus. I think once they'd played their cards of what it was an amazing attack that was completely obviously pre-planned, a scouted out move there from Nymphicus to equalize Coconut Crew, and now it's kind of clear Nymphicus are prepared. Coconut Crew, maybe they didn't do as much due diligence as Nymphicus may have done here, and that could really dislodge this whole thing for Coconut Crew. And I think the idea then would be to not play any maps you've previously played against Nymphicus. Pardon me, I'm getting so excited about it. And try and go for maps where they maybe haven't been able to scout you. And one of those maps, next one, is actually in the Himalayas, where we head into Shambali Monastery. And I would like to predict it's because we saw the Hanzo come out at the end there for Coconut Crew. So I imagine that's what's going to be the plan, because you pick Hanzo for a few reasons. One of them's the recon arrow. You can set up your shots perfectly with it. Of course, that one-shot capability, as well as the burst damage of the storm arrows. It's a very suited hero, especially for the likes of Shambali Monastery. Ash is also something that we saw come out from both sides. Not both sides, sorry. On the side of the Coconut Crew. So that's they're likely playing this because they know they're strong at spam characters. They have those long range players, DPS players. How Nymphicus adapted this, we've seen them on Rematcher before, could be what they bring out. Sigma, of course, is a very strong choice for spam compositions. Also, on the defense, can give your DPS enough edge to win out those duels, to set up nicely. So there's plenty of options here for both sides as we head into Shambali Monastery.
Yeah, I think, we're seeing kind of the meta reshift towards that hybrid between Brawl and Spam. I mean, Ramatra is a clear indicator of that. I feel like almost Junker Queen as well. Junker Queen is getting played a lot at the moment as well. And meta's very diverse, Joe. We love to see it. We love to see it.
I mean, it's just healthy. It's healthy for the game.
Healthy. Yeah.
It's healthy for the esport. It's just healthy all around. When things are nice and variable. And yeah, there was Mika there on the Hanzo. No shock there. They did quite well. Unable to utilize the Hanzo to full hold King's Row, but when you're up against a 4-minute third time bank, right? Like the amount that you drained is enough to celebrate. And Nymphicus going for the monkey on the defense. It's a risk, I would say, because monkey likes to go fast. Monkey likes to get trades, and it's going to be tough because you're going to be jumping into a Mei, you're going to be jumping into a Ramatra and a Hanzo who can burst you down with those storm arrows, like I said. So Rusty needs to be careful. Iquack didn't get a lot done on the Sombra on the attack of King's Row, but on the defense of Shambali, we'll have a moment to set up. We'll be able to scout out targets for Rusty to jump in there with Whis. So let's see how it works here on Shambali compared to King's Row.
If they can catch out Coconut Crew on their rotations, they have a good chance. Like, looking for a hack early. Doing their due diligence is scouting out the side of Coconut Crew. Look to rotate onto the high ground. Try pressure out Rusty, who has to drop to the low ground. Hack coming through, and a 2-man entity will open up things nicely and force the Immortality field to be used quite early in the fight. Nymphicus looking to kite back. They want to allow Coconut Crew to have that space. They want to sustain this fight as best they can.
And Rusty can't stay in for too long. Of course, that's going to really build up their nano, however. If they can get it quick for Matador, they can go nice and hard.
Yeah, and hard is the body of Wisp falling to the floor, evened out though by Kizo. Not as much sustained without that Baptiste, so Coconut Crew have to look to go fast and aggressive in this fight, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They use the snare there, and you can see Rusty couldn't actually get away.
You know why?
Miku.
I don't know. I caught it at the edge of the camera. The May wall was put on the top of the bins or the wall, I think, and Rusty just bonked their head on it. James's placement of walls is extremely entertaining and creative, and I love the use of it.
Oh, they got the cap. Oh, well, there you go, Nymphicus. A little moment too late there, unfortunately.
Was that due to Demesso's boop? Like, it might have been that boop did come in
If
at the
so,
end
that's
there.
a hero play, for sure. Look to snowball things nicely, casting that dragon through the wall, trying to pressure things out as best they can. Kizo not able to be there to whip shot away these engages from Coconut Crew. They're nice and aggressive here, rolling through with 4 minutes 30. Pretty much a mirror of what we saw from Nymphicus on their King's Row attack.
Yeah, definitely. Coconut Crew strikes back, the hidden Star Wars movie that no one has seen. And however, the Iquack is going to have this EMP. Might not even need it. Now that you've taken out Miku, there's an opportunity to go in. You still need to watch for James, of course. But that EMP is absolutely going to be the win condition.
Yeah, and it goes down. All remaining 4 members of Coconut Crew, and Anthony and Asleep will be cast onto Moy as well. Gets taken out by Rusty. The follow-up is there. Core still alive. You've got the support line there. So if Coconut Crew can cut you back, they can look to soft re-engage. But Nymphicus are going to be able to take this and run a mile with it.
Yeah, Nymphicus have a good situation here. I mean, it's going to be a very heavy out fight coming out. And in those heavy fights, I do like to look at the support line mostly. Demesso's beat, I think right now, beat is just much stronger than Rally. I think Rally is actually a little weaker, particularly for Kizo themselves, who doesn't get the overall armor upkeep. It's a massive rotation here.
Like to see it. Nice and creative. Like I said, mirroring what we saw on King's Row from Nymphicus. Already, we're seeing the nano being applied to Rusty. Can the fault be found as the Blizzard is cast onto the core of Nymphicus? Lifecrack taken out. No Sombra available. You cannot hack out Moy of possibly the Annihilation that he's looking to cast now. Looking for the core. Stick comes through, finds Neo. So no sustain from either side. They've traded a couple backlines, but it looks like the follow-up is just better. That, that Nemesis form from Moy is really, really good at keeping him up, and it's something that, as a monkey, you've got to be afraid of.
Bit of a rest there from James to yeet their Blizzard so far away from their team. Made the follow-up a little bit difficult, but in the end, they did get it. I think part of that was the beat from Demesso really tipping it in their favor. Nymphicus are swapping up. Rusty was just struggling to get the value there on the Winston, and I like the choice to match the rematcher. Is it a little too late? 3 minutes 50 on Time Bank. Rolling into the final point. Can Coconut Crew complete this with a solid time bank? Will Nymphicus adaptation change things? Of course, the Ash versus the Hanzo is an interesting setup. Without the pocket, the Ash is not going to have that one-shot capability.
We've seen Nymphicus adapt before, Gio. They might be able to do it again, just as well as before. Scouting out that Tracer in the back. Wisp really struggling to find some value, find some tickle damage to charge up that pulse bomb. Lifecrack open things up nice though. So Demesso taken out, and especially close to that beat, it means Coconut Crew don't really have an ultimate to keep them going in the mid fight. Possibly this Casino Rush, but the follow-up is there as Lifecrack seems to clean up on the Ash in this fight with the long sidelines at their due diligence.
The reason why you see them playing the way they are is, like I talked about, the Hanzo has the better edge of the duel. So they're not dueling the Hanzo. They're focusing on everyone else. They took out the Meso, they're helping their front line, and it's a much better setup for them. They have the Bob already. That's going to allow them to stall the point if things get a little hairy here. Of course, you don't just want to yeet Bob away, because Bob can get deleted nicely. Big long rotation here. Can West disrupt it with this Pulse Bomb? Of course, the Immortality Field's ready for Matador.
Last one comes out, manages to find Neo.
Oh.
I mean, it chucked it over that little gap there to the left. I have no idea how they found that. They got the beat for the sustain. But, I mean, already Moyo is already getting caught solo through the beat itself. And, yeah, definitely an ult that should have been held on to, as it was pretty much to no value whatsoever.
Yeah, I misspoke. I said immortality. I meant cleanse. And
Oh,
I mean, the Kriko also has the swift step. There was two abilities Nova could have used there to get away, but I think they're just caught out a little bit. 1 minute 56, still a decent time bank. They're going to come in with a blizzard, but it's a big open map type right now, so they can kite away from that. They can also kite away from this upcoming Kitsune rush.
It's going to be the beat that comes out first, nice and aggressive. But now they have nothing to counteract this Kitsune Rusher, like you say. Rusty has the Annihilation if they want to use it. Immortality Field keeping them up. But there's a Blizzard and split him from the rest of his team, who were all frozen up. Matador was frozen, couldn't support his Ramatra on the front line. That's a really well-placed Blizzard there by James, rolling into third point.
Yeah, the Bobs really disrupt Coconut Crew and getting the push is going to allow some stability on the side of Nymphicus, on this defense. Watch out for the Annihilation, however. Mwai has it. Nothing to counteract it on the side of Nymphicus other than just kiting it, but you need to be touching the point.
They have nothing in their arsenal, really, when it comes to ultimates. Demeso is close to the beat, and they have the Annihilation. So much ease of point control, and they might not even need it as they use the beat, take out Matador early, and already we're seeing this point look to roll in. It's a bit of stall from a Tracer, but nothing else here, Gio, as it's a nice 40-second time bank, nothing to scoff at here for Coconut Crew, rolling into third point on Shibali.
Yeah, a great attack there. I did like the adaptation of the defending side Nymphicus on the third point. I maybe would have liked to see that adaptation come a little sooner. They might have been able to hold there before the end of the map. But of course, you know, we're just kind of predicting other timelines at that point. Coconut Crew, solid setup. On the defense, I would imagine they're going to go for a similar setup. Miku was consistent there on the Hanzo. You saw a lot of dragons come through. And while, you know, obviously it's not the most effective ult in a big open map, but it really splits things up and it creates avenues of attack. Kind of like how, you know, you dragon and you run through the dragon with the dragon in the dragon's direction. Kind of gives you an element of cover and protection. Sticking with the Mei, I think, you know, creates this kind of spam brawl kind of idea. Like you can sit back, you can brawl, then you can sit back, you can spam, and then you can go to Nemesis mode and use that amp and go into the brawl mode.
Yeah, it's the tempo tank, Joe. It's the tempo
it's
tank.
the Overwatch tempo tank,
Exactly.
and it's the tempo composition. It's a tempo comp.
Yeah, it's tempo comp, exactly.
Yeah. Or as we
just
call
making
them,
it shorter and shorter. Yeah, a little hybrid composition between the spam and the brawl. You like to see it.
iQuack going to look for an early pick. I think they've already spotted that possibility. But I imagine they'll be going on to Ashe because of this Mercy.
Oh, we're gonna see it again. I was
That's
really
a
hoping.
great choice.
Yeah, I mean, when you were talking about adaptation on their third point defense, I wanted to mention this because I really would have liked to see it. It can be, I mean, I think it's actually a fantastic counter against this comp from Coconut Crew, who looked not very good. I mean, they broadcasted Amatra as being able to counter pharmacies. He can't really, let's all be honest. So it's more of an enclosed brawl composition that will struggle against the spam. Because you don't have a point to control like previously, it can just kind of roll that progress through with the payload and spam through. Already so much damage.
Last time in CGL, I saw a team hold that against a Pharah. The Pharah got a 4K with Barrage. So they got to be careful.
I mean,
might not even need a Barrage.
iQuack nearly has the Barrage if they even want it. I mean, they don't need it. Might see it come out here from iQuack just to clean up this fight quickly. But the damage is so good. I'm so glad Nymphicus made the call, because I love seeing iQuack flying through the skies, no longer in the pond.
Miku will be swapping, though, I imagine, onto an Ashe. Probably is the best option, or Cassidy. Yeah, going to go for the Cassidy, because they're not going to go for the Mercy. You've got the window from Neo, so you can hold on to that. Oh, they actually swapped. They actually didn't go for the window. Perhaps that may be an issue for them in this next fight, because they're going to be very much behind it, else everyone swapped there. And they're going to be up against a Barrage, which, once you force out the Suzu of Neo, it's a very free Barrage to get value with.
I mean, Demeso might be able to get to the beat, and you've been very consistent so far, but iQuack, you cannot leave them alone. Barrage has been cancelled by Miku, so it might be salvageable here. four Coconut Crew, as they have found an opening pick, they're going to use the Valkyrie. They want to try keep the fight going. Suzu utilized as well. Pulse Bomb able to find anything from Wiz. Now Demesso's built up this beat, and they can possibly use it to force their way, brute force their way through Nymphicus' front line. Trades are coming through, and it's messy.
Yeah. Barrage didn't survive long because they went over the roof too fast for the Mercy to follow them, is exactly what happened there. Speaking of the Mercy, Hazel's being hounded from the ground by James.
Okay.
Oh! Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, you might not get a barrage, but iQuack is definitely servicing in the neutral just fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. You may have ruined their barrage, but that's water off a duck's back because they're just going to come back and get a triple against you. A very good situation here. iQuack could stick on this, of course. It's not countered by the Cassidy. Cassidy itself still is going to struggle. It's one hero against two because you have to remember that they're being pocketed there by Mercy, whose damage boost is still a very, very potent ability. Oh, James might get caught out here by the ball alone. Just gets out. Coconut Crew, plenty of ultimates in their bank here. Gonna be a big fight here. Matador could pull the trigger on a Kitsune Rush to keep their team alive.
Behind and opening things up. Oh, a great boot from iQuack disables the Heinun entirely. Wow, very smart boot there. And yeah, we're looking at these two Casino Rushes coming up in this fight. It's going to be the Mines that are cast down first, looking to split up the side of Coconut Crew. Rusty is falling very, very low. He's able to be topped up there by Mastodor. And yeah, now it's just the brawl of rushes.
Taking so much spam though. iQuack is just free right now.
He is. And half the time he doesn't even actually have the pocket with him when he's getting all this spam down. Like right now, he doesn't even have the Mercy on him. Still getting so much damage through.
Damage through the bones of Coconut Crew. These missiles are just not missing. They're continuing to open up these fights, and part of the reason you go for fire with a ball is fire does a little bit of damage and the ball gets the follow-up. iQuack's doing the following up themselves. They're doing the initial damage, and then they're just getting the finish. Like, not that they don't need Rusty or Wiz to do the follow-up. It's just that iQuack is that good on the character.
Yeah. Now Moyle on this ball, I worry about Demesso on the Ana because it's going to be all alone in the backline pretty much. You have a Kiriko with you, but it's free reign for iQuack and Wiz as well. Just be able to take advantage of this Ana as much as they like. Wiz, speaking of, does have the pulse bomb with the Suzu utilized early by Neo. Oh, it's great, but Sleep will disable that Heinun nicely.
The res?
Even Wiz coming through. Okay, 3 kills. Oh my god, I'm so flustered, G. I can't even finish my sentence because we see a disable like that onto the barrage, and then Wiz comes through with hero plays.
Final fight territory. Can he even touch? It's a long route back to the point. The Tracer's almost there, and you will have that Kitsune Rush for the final fight to try and help your team, but iQuack's in the sky.
Yeah, in the skies, uncontested. Miku's on the cast, but what are you actually going to do? You think a Cassidy is enough to break iQuack's wings? They will soar forevermore. Coming into third point, 2 minutes 54. We said it was a decent time bank from Coconut Crew, but Nymphicus has absolutely one-upped them completely.
I mean, it's kind of obvious, you know, when you think about it, right? Nymphicus, Bird. It's the Bird team, and it's the Farah team. It's iQuack. They're so on brand right now, Crumble, that I have to imagine they consulted a brand manager before coming into this grand final. Was like, oh yeah, we're going to take to the sky and soar over them, and just continue to not pressure. They're not pressuring the Crumble. They're crumbling them already.
Oh my god, it's my name. Look at you guys.
It's your name. It's your name. They're not just applying pressure. They are.
I think Nymphicus is my spirit animal. They're my if there was such a thing as like spirit teams, Nymphicus is that for me.
Well,
for sure.
You know, they are fellow GG members. We are part of GG Couch Potatoes. GG Nymphicus looking to win it for their org. The org we're a part of, the Coconut Crew. With 1 minute, we've seen what they can do in these times, like in King's Row. They're a solid group, and when things get tough, they really hold it together. iQuack is on the Farah, on the defense, which does open them up to a quick adaptation from Coconut Crew. They still only have Miku to deal with it, which is some pressure, not enough.
Oh,
Yep, look at that. Look
I
at
love
that.
that prod. I love that observer as well. They go "Ooh," and they go right back. Yeah, James going
Yep.
on to the Echo.
They
Maybe
noped
trying
out.
to- I don't know. Maybe I feel like I prefer the Cassidy. Honestly, I do appreciate the full composition switch. Maybe they're looking to force out Matador, possibly with Yuriko.
Well, the Echo can duel out the Pharah for the need of a pocket unless Iquak's going to be landing those directs. Of course, this is all about getting into the backline of Nymphicus and just tearing them apart. Like that.
Yeah, and they've done it. Yeah, so Matador falls very early in the fight, but it's traded out completely. So you use all your cooldowns to get on Matador, and the
12
full
seconds.
composition shield. It's so good at just sustaining and keeping the dive going. It's more sustained dive, and yeah, you're right. Only 5
Miku.
seconds left. Oh, Miku, he's running for it, but he can't do it.
Oh,
Oh my God, trips at the finish line. Oh, that's devastating. That's tragic.
the thing
That
is,
was like a
right?
scene out of a movie. That was crazy.
The thing I did actually like that composition because the idea is if you invest too much in dealing with the Pharah Mercy, you create a comp that's vulnerable to the Tracer Ball. So there's a balance that you need to hit between pressuring out iQuack and getting a composition that can deal with the ball tracer and keep up with that kind of pace of play. Echo, I liked because you can pressure out the Pharah without needing to pocket the Echo, which opens up your backline to really support a dive. And you saw it, they got the Kuriko, and Matador went down, but the damage was already done. The iQuack was kind of like the distraction there, and Rusty and West, they really came up there on the defense. Now they only need to turn that payload around a single corner, and they will take the
Yeah.
lead in this grand finals. Not only
sneaky-
the lead in the grand finals, but they will win the map choice of Coconut Crew. This could destabilize everything. What on earth is this hold?
I mean, if you want to go balls to the wall, quite literally, against Rusty Balls, then, I mean, this is what you do, right? You get that close hold.
You have nothing for iQuack.
Yeah, that is the trade-off, and I don't think it's really one that is quite worth. Miku is all alone here in the spawn doors. Go for some crazy TP mid-fight strategies, all the while iQuack is going spraying from above, but does actually get caught out by James early in the fight, so trades coming through. I just think the sustain of this ball comp is going to really win out as the res comes through onto iQuack. They're back in the skies.
Yeah, iQuack in disguise, and now it's danger territory for Coconut Crew. They realized last time how quickly iQuack was able to get Barrage, and it's happening again. There's so much damage being compounded onto them. The payload is so
Oh no,
close.
the room again. That they
Get
fell
the
in this
room.
trap before, Gio, and just let iQuack build up a barrage nice and quickly. Look how it's just grouped up they are. You can
This
just
could be
spam into
devastating.
that room.
They don't have ammo.
They forced the ammo. Gio, it's all up to iQuack here to be able to get a great barrage. I mean, it's gonna be free, really. Oh god, it's hanging like a Grim Reaper over their heads. You can see them, they're so worried about it. They're trying to contest the point as best they can. Barrage comes through, the damage is there, but a beautiful beat by Demeso.
90 seconds on the board. Opportunity has arisen for Coconut Crew to come out here, get some eliminations, stabilize themselves. Can they do it? They're not finding the eliminations. Almost forced, and now they're right back where they were.
They're all right back where they are, but they found the progress
Mine's-
with it. I mean, they have... Oh my god, they had to use the Annihilation there just for the armor. Meanwhile, iQuack is still in the skies. Miku is down. You've lost your Tracer. There goes Wide. Your tank is gone. James has the Blizzard. All eyes on him to make a miracle happen today in these grand finals. Cast is down on point. Can it disable this Casino Rush? It looks like it does, but a boop splits them away from that immortality field that was cast down by Neo in a spurt of desperation. Trades out iQuack, costs the window, but there's nothing left to do. Stall coming out from wide, Gio, but I think it's all in the cards here for Nymphicus. They roll in to the... Yeah, I mean, already another barrage, and that's Shamboli.
I mean, kudos to the side of Coconut Crew to be able to hold on for as long as they did. but ultimately they were on a thread, right? They went for a very Hail Mary close range hold, which did allow them a second fight, like you saw, but ultimately that Farah has a massive advantage right now. It's a weakness of Coconut Crew. They're not really being able to deal with it. It's an opening in the armor of Coconut Crew. The Nymphicus are continuing to just attack and attack and attack. But can Nymphicus keep up this soaring win streak that they've started to get here? Or will Coconut Crew take this upcoming break, take a moment, center themselves, and get revenge? Don't go anywhere, folks. This grand finals will continue after this break.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our grand finals here for our PCEU Masters division. My name is Crumble, and this is Geo. You've just caught us after our third map on Shambali, which we saw Nymphicus take, bringing our series points to 2-1 to Nymphicus. Moving on to Colosseo as our next map. This is Coconut's Crew map pick, and what do you think is really the thought process behind this map pick from Coconut Crew, Geo?
Well, we were talking between the break there and we were talking about where is Farah strong. And you had an argument for New Queen Street, I had an argument for Esperanza, and well, we didn't mention Wing to Rome. And I think there's a reason for that. It doesn't really necessitate the Farah as much, especially on the inside kind of long choke there. Of course, you can poke from the outside, but those big glass panes that people love, by the way, are kind of get in the way. So it plays more into playing Ramatra, and that has been the strongest composition for Coconut Crew. It's been what they've seen the most success on. So it's likely going to either be the Brawly Ramatra composition or back to that kind of Banana Rush monkey style that we saw them tease momentarily, which again is very strong here. And yeah, there it is. It's actually the Banana Rush teasing to go with the Sombra. We've seen iQuack not really do as much as they want with the Sombra, but this is the first time we've seen James come out on it. And of course, you want to utilize the Sombra to scout your target, hack your target, and claps on them. But once you notice there's a Bastion, you really need to kite that turret mode. You cannot be diving when that turret mode is ready, especially if it's a turret mode and a Nemesis mode, and you're getting punched, you're getting bulleted. There's a whole lot of pain.
It is indeedy. Well, the Coconut Crew are going to be able to definitely have better kind of survivability, but Nymphicus have just that output of damage. But there's a hack. Don't you dare question the James Sombra. Nothing like iQuack. Opens up things nicely, getting the pick onto Rusty. You see iQuack actually does even things out, catches out the Meso, and that beautifully placed slam keeps Whist alive long enough to be able to take out Moy, and things might be going in the way of Nymphicus here.
Yeah, the reason why Nif is just attached to all sorts of life affirming machinery by the support line, keeping them going and chugging in that. The immortality field, the speed, the gross healing coming out. And yeah, Coconut Crew, they've had to adapt. I love the Hanzo pick. Miko has been very consistent with it, and it's very good at spamming out the Bastion from afar, and that's what you need to do. Of course, in these long, kind of narrow sightlines, those arrows are just going to land a lot more often than they would usually.
Yeah, you got plenty of area to look at to cast your arrows down onto your enemies. Strike terror into them already. Kizo falling low, but iQuack will be the first to fall, as James actually switching from the Sombra now onto the Tracer in terms to adapt, and is doing so damn well so far. Finding 2 picks to open things up. Is trying to pressure a Bastion out. Has to recall to avoid that turret form, but although Rusty does find a trade, it's a great adaptation that served nicely here for Coconut Crew.
Tracer to the back of you, Ramatra to the front, and there you are, going back to spawn again.
And
It's
stagger as well.
yeah, that stagger is nasty and will allow them to get the lead here, most likely. iQuack and Wes. Oh, iQuack, yeah, that's nice. This James has popped off on this Tracer immensely, and this is getting a lot of value. Wes there is now there to take that duel to try and stop James getting as much as you can, so you no longer have that Bastion. Both Rusty and Y with those annihilations prepped and ready.
And really aggressive here, laying down a pulse bomb. Immortality field isn't there. Mastor falls low. Rusty's actually using this annihilation just for that armor health, and because when you see him using it like that, you got to be scared for him, and yeah, he gets caught out early. Demeso used the beat as well, super aggressively, as just fight after fight, Coconut Crew snowballing through.
Yeah, and it's all down to the adaptation onto the composition that we see right now. Nano is ready from the Ovo. You don't really have any strong contenders to go on. Of course, the Nemesis form of Y. And unlocking this forward spawn, that's what you want to use it for. You want to fight to get it. And Nymphicus, they cannot let this forward spawn unlock. However, that snowball will become so difficult to block.
Nano is cast there onto Moy, and we see the beat coming out from Nymphicus to try and retaliate against that, but Rusty falling so damn low, and Matador as well is taken out by James. The follow-up is so good from James. We see Miku and Moy really tickling down people. James is always finishing up those kills nicely. They get the checkpoint, and this is bad news for Nymphicus, as they have their wings clipped.
The wings have been clipped, and now you're just, well, I guess if you clip a bird's wings, they become a worm. Not really sure on the biology of that one, though. Miku again finding the head of Matador, and suddenly it's looking dire for Nymphicus in a situation where they could just have a full-on push from the beginning of swapping onto this composition, as Wes has struggled to duel out James, and yeah, another dragon, another headshot onto Matador again.
You're kidding. Let the man out of spawn, for Cripe's sake. The Meso's hacked up. Follow-up just isn't really there, though. Like we said, iQuack really not shown us great things on the Sombra. I do like the synergy with the Tracer, and I guess our synergy with this Doofus, they're now running. I mean, it seems like a Hail Mary to me.
Yeah, it's trying to get something done in the backline. You know me, I don't love Doomfist, but maybe that selfish playstyle is what they need right now, as James continues to tear up the team here as the Tracer.
They have Annihilation. Nano's been cast onto Moy. They don't really need it at the moment. They're literally saving it for as long as possible. Miku absolutely tearing through. And you say, you know, maybe they're trying to go onto the backline. Joe, the front line is dishing out so much damage they can't even look at the back line without being shredded down by Miku, James, and Y.
Talk about getting shredded, final fight territory. You need to touch the ball, and Annihilation is ready. Be also to sustain it, but they're actually backing up. They're being patient with it. Oh,
it's a good gauge though. It's a good engage. I mean, yeah, they tried to kite back from the Coconut Crew, and Nymphicus really took advantage of that straight away. Dived nice and cleanly onto them. But, I mean, Gio, look at that difference. 100 meters.
I know, but there is a chance here for Nymphicus. They won that without using any of the 4, now coming up to 5 ultimates that they have available. They can get a good EMP quickly here, take a fight win. They need to rotate these ultimates like they're absolute gemstones.
They really do, because they are going to be able to wield the Galaxy. EMP comes out and nothing else. Yet again, not really committing that much. Wow. And iQuack, you're making us see our words, is proving themselves to be very adequate on this Sombra.
They only used the EMP. This is exactly what they need, Nat. They're not over-ulting, and they've won 2 ults in a fight. They now need to win another fight in a row, and it's going to get difficult because, of course, you still have that Annihilation, but if this pulse bomb can get the Nano...
Here it goes! Gets out Neo! And now they don't have that honor. The Meso's going to have to be forced to use the beat here if they want to try re-engage. Rusty getting caught pretty damn low. Is playing some CSGO surf there on the roofs here on Colosseum. Beat is available for Demeso, like I said, but Miku gets taken out nice and early. Bodies are falling on the side of Coconut Crew. Nymphicus would use this beat to be nice and aggressive to make sure they can get this checkpoint.
And this was so close for Coconut Crew just finishing this map. Now, they could stop them from getting forward spawn with this Annihilation, as Nymphicus are running out of resource.
They kited it so well. Moy does get the pick onto Mastel, but is extremely low. And that fight honestly could have gone in either way. If they found the hop onto Moy, could have been winnable. But I mean, great progress made so far.
That was a hero's try there from Nymphicus, and almost unlocking that forward spawn, which would have really opened up a possibility for them to take this map. Not that it's not over yet, right? Not that there's no chance. Wes is looking for a flank. They've been spotted by that recon arrow. Yeah, they're going to be fitted out here, most possibly. Nano ready from Coconut Crew.
Goes onto Moy. Going in with that Nemesis form, takes out Kizo easy. It's like cutting butter. The Nano Nemesis form cleans through so damn quick. And yeah, it's just another fight win here for Coconut Crew, as they have nothing to lose and all to gain.
Yeah, cutting butter with a blowtorch, as the saying goes. However, iQuack has the EMP. They can utilize that to stop them getting this forward spawn if they get a quick regroup, as Kiriko will be there shortly. Look at this. iQuack setting up here in the back. Perhaps spotted.
Yeah, look at the EMP. Has to open things up though for the side of Nymphicus. Finds a nice headshot. Always like to see the kunai getting work done. And Gio, they might be able to have a repeat of before they win a fight without any ultimates, and maybe they'll be able to dink down some more meters in their favor.
Nymphicus are so damn good at winning fights when they have a win condition ultimate, but they don't use it. They hold on to it. They understand the value that they have. But if iQuack goes down here, this is going to be tough. They will need to use the pulse bomb instead.
Oh, James!
Oh my god, James gets caught out.
Okay, Matador does get traded out though, so Miku, you got to be careful of this man on the high ground.
You need to
costs the dragon as well. But there's the EMP, and it's huge. The follow-up is there. Neo is down. He trades his life for it. And then because they have to make something work, the follow-up needs to be found because its high ground position is so good for Coconut Crew. And they're just spamming down from the high ground. And it's Miku at the center of that spam as they disable Nymphicus from getting a chance to turn the tides. Cheeky little tactical crouch there as well, just to rub salt in the wound.
It was so close to being possible for Nymphicus, but with 30 seconds on the board, with every second that goes down, Nymphicus's chances of winning this map go down, and Coconut Crew's possibility of equalizing this series in the grand final 2-2 gets more and more likely.
So with the beat, it's going to be able to sustain this fight nicely. Kizo not quite to theirs yet, and Matador 98% to that Kitsune Rush was not able to be cast. Good trade though, coming out from Rusty, able to take out James. Not a lot of pressure now going to be placed onto the backline, so maybe we can see Kizo go up in that ult percentage, but it doesn't seem like it. Overtime ticking down bit by bit, and Coconut Crew solidifying their comfortability on this map. They've proved it to us so well here, Gio, and they seem to even out our series here 2-2.
Oh yeah, this is what you want from a grand finals. This is what we all deserve to see. This Overwatch being played here from both sides. It may be Masters Crumble, but there's some great stuff coming out here to show the potential of these players, to show what these teams are capable of. And yet 2-2, first to 4, Crumble. That means we're potentially still only halfway done with this grand finals. That's a complete potential here. These maps are going blow for blow, back and forth. Nymphicus, Coconut Crew, 2-2. They both want it. They're both hungry for it. They both need it. And we're definitely getting to the wire of this matchup. And Crumble, that is worth noting, that for the first time in a few maps, Nymphicus now, they get to be the one that chooses where they go.
Yeah, they do. So they do have a bit more to work with. I mean, we saw them on King's Row, I believe. They were able to win out against Coconut Crew on a map where they probably wouldn't have felt very comfortable. We've seen them play the Pharah, and that's kind of, I feel like, their fallback. We saw them try to use it on Shanghai successfully in order to, you know, even things out nicely. So they are and have been quite good at the pharmacy compositions. So maybe they're going to look to, I think we're going on to Control next. So I'm thinking Nepal. That's just what I think. You know, I think Nepal's a great pharmacy map. They're probably going to go for that. Lijiang can work too. I think most Control, honestly, really supports the ball composition because you kind of just all existing multiple angles, just putting pressure down. The opposing team may get the point count first and have that good brawl potential and close range stuff on point, which disables you from getting the point control immediately, but you just dwindle them down just like we saw them done so far on that composition they're so comfortable on. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting to see. Probably Nepal.
Yeah, I love that. I love that idea, and I absolutely agree. I have no counterpoint. Nepal is a
for the first time ever.
Hey, don't make me sound like I'm mean to you or anything, right? Jeez. However, it's actually going to be Ilios, which, when you think about it, also plays into a lot of the things that you were saying and allows them to play Pharah. And iQuack's Pharah, whenever they brought it out, has been uncontested. That's something we
Yes.
haven't yet seen the side of Coconut Crew be able to find what works against
I
it.
mean, Miku played some Cass, but it doesn't work against the Quackmeister. He's
Yeah.
just too strong in the skies.
I mean, you can play a cast, right? But it's the idea of like, that's one hero against two. That's one player against two. Because you're being pocketed, right? It's unfair to just stick your main DPS on
Go deal
Cassidy and
with
be
the
like,
pharmacy.
it's your job, you do it. But also, you know, like we talked about, if you overcorrect, then you create weaknesses in the rest of your team, and that's not something Coconut Crew want to do. They're very close at finding out this like Da Vinci level riddle of how to solve iQuack from getting too much
They're getting
value
there.
while also still fighting the team. And maybe the break that we had could be enough. I obviously, you know, we saw that book coming in before we went to Colosseo. So, Elios, similar climate, still in the Mediterranean. So perhaps that's in the favor of Coconut Crew, who are going to be sipping out of coconuts, having
Possibly.
fun. Or will the flight of Nymphicus continue to be strong here in their map pick? I mean, that it's hard to predict, right? It's blow for blow.
It is blow for blow. I mean, one thing I was going to say, you know, you want to counter iQuack, there's this funny little character, goofy character called Diva. She's pretty good at that. But maybe it's just not in the wheelhouse. See, that's something that you sometimes trade when you have a tank that is maybe good at a few heroes. Like we've seen, I mean, Moai's been fantastic on the Ramatra, quite good on the Monkey as well. I think we've seen bits and pieces of Bull, which seem to be consistent. But you know, if you go against a pharmacy, something as oppressive like that can be, and you don't have your tank be able to play Diva to really counter it, then
Yeah.
it can be rough.
Yeah, I agree. Diva would work well here, but you know, while we're still in Masters, there's still the idea, like you say, you know, might not be in the wheelhouse, might just not be something that they're comfortable on, and in this Masters bracket, well, you are still, you know, top 10% of the player base, likely. Obviously, we don't know the stats for sure, but I imagine top 10%, even top 5% possibly. You're still going to play what you're comfortable on. And that's why Nymphicus are on bada bing, bada boom. It's the Pharah taking to the sky as Coconut Crew come out with the Ana actually in the backline instead of the Kriko. Now, that could be the thing that unlocks them here, because if Neovo continues to be aggressive with their shots here, they could help focus iQuack out of the sky or even take Gizo down.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna eat your words, Joe, I'm
Wow.
afraid, as iQuack doesn't seem like they are stopping anytime soon.
Okay, that's a
Boy,
reset. Obviously, it's a reset.
I hope so. I really hope it was.
I mean, you could even see them going to the Diva possibly here. No, okay, no, just reset. Okay, fair enough. You know, now you have the Tracer, now you have the Sombra. You're looking for those hack dives. You need to get good scout. Matador could be an option for those dives.
Oh, or Rusty. Okay. That I've never
Ooh.
seen a health will drain that damn quickly, especially for a Bull. Now the tank gone, and Bull's so good at contesting that point. Now you don't really have that in your wheelhouse. Whisk is still there, but is going to be forced out. Has used the recall. Matador taken out as well. And now we're seeing the consistency of this Monkey composition definitely coming out on top here in this fight.
Yeah, there's a lot more snappier decisions being made here. Coconut Crew clearly very comfortable here. Miku is just going to annoy Kizo. That's the idea. And every time I talk about Kizo, Rusty gets taken out by such an intense amount of damage.
No way! That's so unfortunate. Cast the barrage. Boy jumps over you, and his big monkey butt just reflects all that damage back in your face. That's unfortunate. Also, it's key to note, Joe, Nymphicus are trying to fight this while the point is still has been flipped and in control of Coconut Crew. That's devastating.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you obviously want to get a good regroup here and reset. I mean, Rusty needs to be careful because they've went down so quickly so often here. Those hacks have been going on to them left, right, and center. This time onto Kizo, almost taking them out of the sky here.
Oh. And tries to get the stick is Miku, but You do have that Suzu for a reason, and you can be able to cleanse it nicely. Valk coming out, and still we see Rusty kind of just existing on point by themselves. B comes out from Demeso to try and negate this engage with the Valkyrie and with the mines. And yeah, I mean, meanwhile, just the point keeps ticking upwards and upwards. Trey's come through, Neo is down. So sustain for Coconut Crew, much less prevalent. Can iQuack make use of it? We will have to see.
78% and counting. We're in the last 20 for Coconut Crew to hold in here. Yeah, James has EMP. There's that one condition. Why? With the juggle on the Primal on King's Row was insane, and it will be something that Nymphicus have to deal with. Rusty swapped onto the Diva. It's going to help them stay alive. It's going to help them spy check. But in this final fight, they do need to touch, and it will be Kizo.
Who gets solo EMP'd. Oh god, that is a sad sight to see for all my Lucio brethren out there. But it's the Lucio that gets traded out for either side. Casino Rush is there for Nymphicus, but James is the sole chariot here for Coconut Crew. Gets the DMEC, gets 2 kills on top of that. Will trade their life for Matador, but the damage has already been done. And we sung the praise of iQuack on the Pharah, but it just did not seem to get us anywhere near as much value in the long run here on Lighthouse.
James has really stepped up their game to the next level in the latter half of this series. I don't know if they've done some, exercise or something during the break,
some finger push-ups or something like that.
Yeah, finger curls, yeah, or whatever. But like whatever has gone into the mind of James has really just stepped up for them, and they've been really dominant, both on the Tracer and the Sombra. I mean, most teams these days, at least from my experience, have 2 solid Tracer players. But Miku and James have taken that to the next level and really allowed Coconut Crew to play this nice, solid Winston dive. Now, of course, you want to be setting up your Ana on the high ground. Demeso looking to boop away anyone that takes them to task. Rusty on the Winston this time, set up the ball, will be able to go for much harder, faster dives. Of course, once that jump's engaged, they're in it, or they're going to have to bin it.
Exactly that. I mean, I do think this is the best case scenario for Nymphicus. Is I think Lighthouse is kind of the only other option to make Pharmacy work, but it's just the synergy of these hacks and following up on said hacks from Coconut Crew that was great in the last round is already showing its prowess here as the point up goes to Coconut Crew, and they look strong already.
Yeah, so Coconut Crew, how they have it right now, Miku is annoying the heck of Kizo, who goes down to Neovo there, and that forces iQuack to push back. Hello, Neovo. Yeah.
Hi. Let Geo color, for Christ's sake.
That's why they're not called healers. That's why they're called supports.
Very much.
But yes, Coconut Crew they've done it. They've found the Da Vinci Code, and they have dealt with iQuack on the Pharah, who has been forced now onto the Ashe. Kizo on the Brigida is going to help a lot in keeping Matador alive on the Ana. Coconut Crew have forced the adaptation from Nymphicus.
Well, maybe it is a blessing in disguise for Nymphicus as iQuack took out Miku very early in that fight. Maybe a calm before the storm, so to speak, from iQuack, who also takes out the monkey as well. Did you see that tracking, Geo? Oh my god. Yeah, maybe things are looking up here for Nymphicus as, yeah, that adaptation is great for them. And yeah, now definitely with the honor as well. Rusty looks more comfortable on the monkey.
You can tell Nymphicus were really banking on Coconut Crew not having found out how to deal with the Pharah comp, but it took them a while to accept, okay, no, they found us out, they know how to deal with us, let's just go into a different comp here, and they're really setting up hard on this back high ground, and of course going for those big clamping dives onto Neovo where they can find it.
Yeah, Nano applied onto Mui. You expected to see that coming into this fight as, Neo has been on that Ana pick for longer than Matador. Trying to find, but look at that peel with the Primal. iQuack does get taken out, but a beautiful showing from Rusty of their support of that damn Ashe player on their team. Does get taken out, and Matador slept up as well. Means that not sustained for the dive available. Yeah, Nymphicus forced to reset here.
Coconut Crew, they held on to a strong win condition of that EMP. I mean, we've mentioned it again. Meow on the Primal Rage is much more potent than anyone else. I've seen on the Primal Rage for a while. Rusty as well, very strong. Both know how to juggle for sure. Nano going to be engaged onto Rusty likely in this next
James
fight,
looking for
but this EMP is going to come nice and quick.
James looking for... Oh, if he lands it here, it's everyone. Rusty's straight out to Meso, but here comes the EMP. It's found 3. The nade thrown in as well. Finds Matador. Able to cast the Nano onto Rusty in the last few seconds of their life. Gets the flip as well, but got Muir low, but I mean, has the Primal to be able to sustain. So in the long run, Coconut Crew definitely are better off here. And we'll see the effects of that as, although they get the point flip, Nymphicus look frazzled and have to rush back onto point to even have a chance of getting Ilios back in their hands.
92% and counting. It's final fight territory, and they need to get a panic touch. James looking for the hack, almost hacked Bob, but Bob is going to be able to touch and contest and rally on the point.
Yeah, rally as well. Pulse bomb catches Kizo solo. Full up is there. Flip comes through. Nymphicus have so much riding on this fight, and Whis is not disappointing. Has found 2 so far.
Yeah,
Great showing here.
When these teams get up against a wall, they go into fight mode, and it's an absolute pleasure to watch. Uh-oh. That's a good choice. Going onto that Reaper is such a large amount of damage. You just want to push onto point, force them to touch the point, and of course, if Rusty comes in there, they're just going to get chunked down by these Hellfire shotguns, especially if they don't get the Primal, they will though.
Quack and Master are really the key to this plan of being able to... Oh my god! The Wraith was used early, Jim, and so was the Suzu, so the 2k Force Bomb comes out from Whis. Coconut Crew got the flip. But Nymphicus, they played that so damn well. They let the damage come through from the Dynamite and the Anti-Nade, and they made use of that long range that they have for the Ash and the Ana.
It's now 88% counting, 10% left. Coconut Crew are now the ones on the back foot. They are going to have a Kitsune Rush very shortly, and if they can get that built up and utilize it, that might win them this fight.
Yeah, but the beat is out of question, Gio, as Demeso gets taken out early. No mid-fight beat for you now. Your sustain is worse off, but the point flip comes through. This might flick back round and spin in the face of Nymphicus as the point ticks down, and they get Ilios right from under the nose of Nymphicus, bringing us to 3-2 in our map series.
Yeah. Incredible stuff. I talked about it, you know, if the rush came out, is particularly because of the Reaper, man. Yeah. The Reaper and a Kitsune Rush. Man. That's, they talk about Hellfire shotguns, they really live up to their name when they're in a Kitsune Rush, let me tell you that much. And you just saw it, as soon as the rush came out, it was devastation. And I think, obviously, when the fight's going on, very hard to pinpoint sometimes what's important to really take care of, and I think if there was a little bit more pre-thought of we need to take out that Kiriko before it gets bad, then perhaps Nymphicus could have won it, but very close in that fight. But ultimately it was 2-0 in Ilios. Coconut Crew, they win it out in Nymphicus' map choice, and bringing this series to an interesting point. Nah, it is match point.
It is match point. I did not expect this. I'm going to be completely honest. I expected Nymphicus to steamroll through Ilios, and that's not what we got. I mean, like you said, they, Coconut Crew really found the potion to make make the pharmacy disappear, which I don't blame them. It can be really, really oppressive, and they found a really unique way to deal with it. And I think, expanding on that last fight, Nymphicus did do a good job of getting Demeso out of the fight early, so they couldn't use the beat. But like you said, you have that Reaper, you have the Kitsune Rush. Yeah. It is so scary. And if they were in like if Nymphicus had like 99%, and Coconut Crew wasn't quite last fight territory, it would have been okay. But that really was the nail on the coffin for them on Ilios. We'll see what on that map we go into next. I really think Nymphicus have really got to pull something out from somewhere, because I imagine they're frazzled after that.
Right now, Rumble, it's actually a fun thing to note. We are at what the scoreline was the last time these teams met, but that match was a 1-3. We are at the situation where it's the exact same outcome as it was last time, but there's more to play. There's more to go. We're going to find out now what would happen if that match had gone on longer. We're going to find out what these teams are made of past the point of no return, past the point of knowledge, of understanding how things are going. And Nymphicus, they really need to come up big. Because Coconut Crew, if they win this next one, that's it. They've solidified it. They're the grand finalists. They're the champions. They've got the cup and they're looking pretty. But of course, Nymphicus, they're hungry. They want the revenge. And they're not going to sit down and take it from the Coconut Crew.
Yeah, I mean, it is an underdog story here for Nymphicus. They really got to reach deep. They got to find their underdog story. They got to think of it. What's an inspiring underdog story? What's an inspiring underdog story?
Well, there's lots, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's Rocky.
Classic, yeah.
Rocky is a classic, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure a few of those movies he's the underdog, so that's pretty much the underdog thing. Creed as well, the more modern version. And that really ties into when I'm saying, it's pound for pound, it's blow for blow. Like, they're going all of the rounds that we can possibly go. If Nymphicus win here, we have played every possible map, right? Other than getting a draw in King's Row, which we were terrifyingly close to getting.
Yes.
So,
I mean,
like, I have talked about how I'm cursed. A few of the matches I've played, casted, not played. I would get completely eliminated if I played. But a few of the matches that I've casted have went like sweeps, 4-0s, 3-0s. This is certainly not one of those, and you do not want to miss the conclusion of this grand finals after this short break.
on, howdy everyone, welcome back. Sorry for the small delay. Looks like we're going to be moving on to Havana for our next map. Little bit of spam, little bit of poke. Who are we thinking is going to take the win in this next one?
Ooh, Havana. Ooh, na na. Oh, what a beautiful map to take us to. But in terms of play, I mean, that's very...
Not so beautiful. Yeah,
I mean,
it's just...
well, that's up to your opinion, right? So let's talk about why people perhaps don't like it. And that's because it's very long sightlines, and people usually, they meet like a Widowmaker or a Hanzo. Those one-shots come out, and, you know, the player base doesn't love them. I mean, it's a one-shot. Who does, apart from people doing them? But now we're kind of talking about what happened with Shambali, right? Shambali was something that was chosen by Coconut Crew and has a similar kind of setup. Obviously not particularly the same, but lots of spam lines, right? Lots of corridors to really get that spam down. So you're expecting the side of Coconut Crew to come out with Miku on the likes of Hanzo. You're expecting probably the kind of ball compositions to come out again to kind of control that map. So I'm curious to see what Nymphicus have up their sleeve here, because they know they're against the Hanzo, and they know that the Farah isn't going to shock them or be as good as it was on Shambali. So I think Nymphicus here, they're probably either going to come out with that monkey composition that we saw them try on Shambali to see if it works a little bit better here. Or perhaps they're going to go for more of that kind of Ramatra composition again, kind of like stick to the guns of what's been working. And that does seem to be it. In fact, this is a close hold. They're picking this composition to hold close, and that's now maybe why they picked Havana. They're perhaps trying to catch... sorry, no, it's Coconut Crew that are coming out on the close hold. So Nymphicus, that's not why they picked it. Nymphicus chose this map. Maybe they're expecting this. Look at them. They're all looking at it.
Group huddle. Look at that.
Do you want my celebration? I'm talking about my beer. I'm trying to... Kizo, you're making me blush. I'm trying to do some color commentary here.
Jeez Louise.
Oh,
down.
Yep, close hold coming in. It's completely expected by Nymphicus. Rusty Balls is on the Roadhog to deal with it. Also,
never mind. Nope, there's a wall in your face. Yeah, Iquack coming out on the pharmacy is a really good way to deal with that close hold. And yeah, we're going to see it take into effect. And a nice anti-nade as well onto Mai. And yeah, this close hold has been thwarted so cleanly and efficiently by Nymphicus.
Yeah, I mean, that was just quick and severe, right? Nymphicus completely scouted the close hold. Probably you could predict that they were going for the close hold, because if you remember on Shambali, they did actually go for a close hold there with the Ramatra composition. It didn't work out in their favor that time. Didn't work out here. So the close hold ain't been so good. They are going to get that second fight, like we've talked about, is what allows you. And Miku on hand. Oh, sorry, not on Hanzo. It's James on Hanzo this time. Miku on the Widow.
See, this is what I was worried about. If they're forced onto this Widow composition, we've seen Iquack very comfortable on the Farah and Whis very comfortable on the Tracer, and not really much to say about any sniper, characters. Maybe Iquack on the Ashe, but we haven't really seen any Widow so far, so I worry about that matchup into Miku, who we know has been playing these snipers. So it is all in the cards here. It does take out Moy nice and early, so that's the tank gone. You don't have that shield to hide behind, so the backline of Coconut Crew definitely needs to be watching out for those sidelines.
Of course, the backline also wants to have sidelines because of the Zenyatas now on the field. You're going to get a lot of spam down, and of course that Discord Orb, applying that damage buff to everyone in a team on a singular target, basically creates dead tanks. It's the tank killer.
Yeah, it is. There goes 25% of your health. Bye-bye now. Slam comes down onto Coconut Crew, displacing them very nicely. And actually, they're looking to kite back. They don't want to take that fight, or maybe they just took it too slow. Either way, Cap comes through. And it looks like Coconut Crew have to be forced to kite back. And really, I mean, off the back of Rusty, huge space is being made for Nymphicus.
After that brief break of waiting for Matador's internet provider to let us continue to play, looks like Nymphicus has really talked himself into a kind of whirl here. They're really keeping a good upkeep of pace, even with this very spammy composition. Uh-oh. Miko's on the board.
Okay. Yeah, there's the Widow. There's the one shot. There's Havana. All said and done. Great stuff on the Widow. Rusty's in your back, though, so Demeso getting taken out. I mean, a quick regroup here from Nymphicus could be doable in salvaging this fight.
I just want to talk about how flexible Coconut Crew's DPS lineup is. The fact that you have James on the hands, oh wow, forcing Transcendence, that's actually a massive thing. I'll interrupt myself to say. But yeah, James on the Hanzo does have that dragon, has been maybe not as consistent as Miku, but still a very solid Hanzo.
I love Wisp dodging those Widow shots, terrifying. That scares me. As a flex support player myself, that sound right past your ear, terrifying noises. But yeah, now pushing a bit closer, hopefully high ground can be taken by the backline of Nymphicus so they can actually get good sightlines and set up some nice Discord orbs, some anti-nades, possibly some sleeps. Dragon comes through, James trying to split up the team. And we're seeing pressured out is Miku on this Widow. They really want to try to disable those long sidelines. There's going to be Kizo to be the first one to fall, so a lot of sustain for Nymphicus is down. They still have their Discord Orb to be able to be applied from Matador if they want it, and Wisp is even things out. James is there. Eyequack is gone. The sightlines are deteriorating bit by bit, and you're losing bodies left, right, and center. This defensive high ground position just seems to be doing Coconut Crew so well. Though, I mean, Pix is still coming through, Geo. Is it doable?
This is just a brawl at this point, and it is doable. Wes and the ball still there, synergizing together. Eventually, those respawns, though, that are in the favor of the defenders.
When he gets taken out, that slam and the nano from Bolt is utterly monstrous in terms of damage. Eyequack is back, and he clearly heard me talking about how I didn't think he was suited for Widow because he's actually really helping aid Nymphicus in capping this next point. Now moving on to these longer sidelines of third point. Now it's time for Eyequack to really have free reign on the Widow. We're already seeing that come into effect.
Yes, opening up into third with 3 minutes remaining, and that's a decent time bank for Havana. The defenders, however, Coconut Crew, James wants to bring out the Genji here, and that I question taking the Widow away on third point rather than second, because now Eyequack, other than Miko, they're gonna be pretty free. Never mind. Wow, I cursed it.
Eating your words. Cost to curse for sure. I mean, Moi is definitely being cursed with that Discord orb, I'll tell you that. You can see how much pressure is being applied, especially with the anti as well. I mean, you normally tend to see the Baptiste, but Kiza's doing a great job of keeping up with that.
They are.
Oh, careful.
Rusty Balls does have the mines, the rusty mines, to kind of split this up. They're almost at that choke of getting through, and again, a very early Transcendence. Now those mines are going to be uncontested in terms of the support ultimates.
Yeah, already really low. Moi is really taking the back end of the damage here as Nymphicus just seem to have a lot better focus fire. Wisp will fall to Nebo in a nice little volley of orbs there. But in general, like I said, this focus fire is great for Nymphicus. Mines come out, catch Miku off guard, wasn't quite looking at where they were. Rusty is doing great on the ball, definitely living up to their name. We haven't really seen much of the Wrecking Ball from them so far, but it seems to be great.
Yeah, the Wrecking Ball definitely doing wonders here. Matador with a Transcendence for the attacking squad, so they can utilize that. Eyequack got booped off the map.
Oh no, spiders can't swim, Geo. They don't know how. Why would you do that to Widowmaker? And it looks like a fight reset is necessary here for Nymphicus as Eyequack switches over to the Echo. Interesting choice.
Dragon even came out, Matador. Decides not to utilize the Transcendence there, knows the fight's over. Both sports ready for the attacking squad. This Nano, you imagine, will either go on to Eyequack or more likely Rusty as they go for the slam. A Nano slam is a very strong combination, and with no Transcendence from Neovo, it's something that will eliminate a Zenyatta quickly.
Zen is a glass cannon after all. Here comes the nano onto Iquack, but is caught out so low, so quickly. The focus fire flips on its head as Coconut Crew seem to be doing quite well at it themselves. Nano applied onto Moy in the heat of the moment. And now it's not available for that blade, and we see the effect of that come through as they have the trans and they take out James nicely with their focused fire. All it is really a ball and an Ana on the side of Coconut Crew, really trying to hold things together. Mew is falling very low. Look at those long sidelines. It's free reign for Kizo in the back.
They're not getting enough push, however, and of course the defender's advantage here with the spawn, but they're still losing members, Crumble.
Yes, going back and forth. Miku is doing great work on this Tracer. Has found 2 so far. Has the pulse bomb charging up, and now we're approaching overtime. And like you said, that defender's spawn has just done Coconut Crew so well. And it doesn't look like we're going to get a cap from Nymphicus.
Yeah, Nymphicus are struggling here because of that defender's advantage. They've been unable to push enough here, and the writing is on the wall. Yep, Nymphicus unable to complete the map, but they did get it pretty far, so it's not all over yet. And part of this could be down to the fact that I'm quite a cultured man myself, so I do know that coconuts actually grow on Cuba. So coconuts are an indigenous entity. Indigenous I was going to say fruit. Are they? They're not a fruit. They're a delicacy. Yeah, they're indigenous to Cuba. Where Nymphicus, they're Australian. They're local to Australia.
They are far from home. They are very far from home.
Yeah, they are far from home. So Coconut Crew, they do have that advantage. And Nymphicus, tit for tat. You close hold me, I close hold you. Going for the Ana rather than the Baptiste is a risk. Baptiste just has better healing output. Is a very overtuned support right now, I'd say. And there's a little look at where Coconut Crew need to go here. If you see Coconut Crew get it to here, the grand finals are over, and they are your champions. Nymphicus, they need to really come up here. And with this close hold, how much time can they drain off the bank? Because Coconut Crew, when they did it, they didn't drain anything off the bank.
No, they really didn't. And I think I actually quite like the Ana. Contrary to what you say about that good burst healing, it allows for some good burst plays with the sleep, with the anti-nade. Now it's James's turn to show off a little bit of Pharah gameplay. Will it get as much success as Ipac found? Already the wall coming out, and the Bastion is a bit scary. Trade comes through, so that Pharah is gone. But don't forget, the respawn is so much quicker for the attackers. So a kill, a death for them is nowhere near as detrimental as a death for the attackers. Rusty is barely alive, and huge heals from Kizo are coming through. Tries to get the charge onto Moy. There's no point in shielding Sun. That Nemesis form will cleave right through. But Iquack is there for you and gets the damage necessary for Matador to be able to finish off the kill. But pieces of the chessboard are falling bit by bit here for Nymphicus, as Coconut Crew have done a great job at thwarting this close hold. They look to move forward.
Can you call playing Bastion, playing chess? I'd call that like flipping the board.
I'd call that like checkers at best, probably.
Yeah, it's like when you're playing chess and your little brother brings out a Lego piece. It's like, nope.
Yeah, that's exactly what
you
it's
don't
like.
quite understand what's happening. But
Bastion actually has a Lego skin as well, so that's the very thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, Nymphicus, they bought themselves another fight that's part of that close hold. They actually did drain 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's decent. Now you have the Nano to engage Rusty nice and deep into the back line of Coconut Crew. Try and stabilize your defense a bit and get a nice hold.
There goes the Nano onto Whis, though. Takes out Neo. Has the recall available. Resources are in their favor. Miku! Miku is gonna just stamp on that bug while it's standing by his shoe. Squash that efforts from Whis completely. Now they're down the Nano. They've got a pause them if they want it. Not a lot on the side of Coconut Crew, though. Will Nymphicus be able to rent this well, Jim?
And Nymphicus are trying hard to hold on to this one. Of course, they want to try and hold up first point, not let it get close and close to the end there. But Miku is going to have the advantage in the Widow duel momentarily.
I quite agree. Need to chill out before getting that sight, possibly. Oh god, doing it to him again. But yeah, there's the pressure you need to be applying onto the Widowmaker. And the sights have since dissipated. Rusty is doing a great job at holding this front line together. Really is the key to this puzzle. Yeah, I was gonna say key to this jigsaw puzzle. That doesn't make sense.
No, you're absolutely right. Rusty dealing with the Widow there is the reason why Nymphicus have continued to hold in here. Transcendence had to be used because of the mines. You know what? That's an okay usage of it. Now you just have to be aware that once James gets that blade, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. But yeah, Nymphicus, they've held in decently here first point. We're below a minute. There's definitely... James switched. Interesting choice. You kind of had a free blade coming up there, but you know, I understand that the Tracer has better output, and well, Wiss is down.
Wiss couldn't recall in time. And Wiss and Rusty have done such a good job on the defense. Really good synergy so far. Demeso casts the window. Doesn't quite have the lamp. Just gets it online quick enough to be able to cast it down. Keep themselves alive on the point. Rusty is whipping everyone out. Displacing people right into the sightlines of Matador, who takes out Neo nice and early. Demeso is still alive this fight. Nano onto Wiss again. 2 for the man on the Tracer. And if Nymphicus are able to hold it here, this is humongous for them in this series.
They might just. Matador's getting close to Transcendence. Rusty and Wiss have their ultimates, and that Mines can split things up. 3 seconds to go. Boy got slept. They hit the sleep. Keto comes up massive.
Oh my god, a saving play for Nymphicus. They still have a say in this series. The rubber match here. They've re-entered. They were the underdogs here, Gio, coming back into the grand finals. A play of the game from iQuack, deservedly so here. Showing Nymphicus a no laughing matter in this grand finals. And we are at match point. It's down to the last map, Gio.
This is an instant classic. This is an absolute brawl, pound for pound. Amazing matchup. I don't want to call that match anymore. They are fighting. This is a fight, folks. It's fight night. It's free for free in the grand finals. It's match point both ways. Nymphicus, they're turning the script upside down. It's so close to them getting revenge, and we will find out after this short break if they can finish the story or if Coconut Crew can quell the danger. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Yeah. 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 Memories. Memories. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
Folks, it is all down to this last map. Esperanza is our map of choice, and our final map here in the Grand Finals PC EU Masters Division Season 11 here at CGL. Gio, this is one of the closest and most intense Grand Finals I have, and I'm sure you have, casted in a very long time. It is down neck and neck, like you said, blow for blow, every single map, and there's not gonna be any final straws here. It is push. It is one wins, one loses. End of.
There is no draw potential. As we head to Portugal, as we head to Esperanza, it's going to end. The story will conclude. There will be a winner after this next map. Will it be Coconut Crew continuing their reign of dominance? Or will Nymphicus get the revenge needed? Because we talked about last time, it was 3-2 Coconut Crew. It was 3 for Coconut Crew, 2 for Nymphicus. That was the mid-season finals. It's now 3-3 in the grand finals. Nymphicus, they've went a step beyond what happened last time, and on push, they're looking to complete the story like we've said. This is going to be tough, however, because as you remember when we were in Rome, things weren't going their way.
No, I think Nymphicus really did struggle a lot of the time to find that follow-up of momentum on push. I think they did have a lot of good fights where they were able to not have to utilize too many ultimates in order to really turn things around, but it didn't last for very long.
Yes, I mean, there's been so many individual plays also. Like, I wanted to talk about some individuals, but like, you can say so much for so many of these players, right? And a lot of them are very flexible. I mean, Kizu sleep at the end there was incredible and basically stopped the touch on Havana and brought it to a 3-3. And I'm not just saying that because they were complimenting my beard. I'm saying that because they're an incredible player. Both sides going for a very similar composition here. Nymphicus looking to play a little slower here with the Brigida and Coconut Crew, who have that Lucio and can go a little quicker in these fights.
They've also got that Sojourn placed up nicely on that high ground. Muki already falling low, have to be forced out just a little bit. They're looking for the hack. They're setting up firmly on this high ground. Nymphicus looking for some damage to really engage in properly. They're trying to take control of the bot, I should say. Hack has been placed onto Rusty, recall forced, and Miku is going to find the back end of that. Without the recall, they're able to get out. The sustain has been great, but that's an anti-nade placed onto the backline. Kizo is going to be taken out and find the brunt of that. Rusty does have the larger health pool at the moment compared to Moy, and but I mean, 10 meters already for Coconut Crew. Nymphicus have to play fast here.
Yeah, that was a ginormous anti-nade, which basically equalized that fight after losing a member, and it's still kind of very tradey, very back and forth. Both teams will very shortly be back at full capacity, but iQuack...
Now on the Sojourn, which a pick we haven't seen from them much at all, has found 2 picks, one from the grave and one from their bullets. And they're able to finally get some momentum. Nymphicus looking strong so far, and Nano is what they have.
Yeah, that disruptor shot, like you said, from beyond the grave goal. Merciless Vengeance. Whoa, that was a risky from Wesson. A bit of a miss as well. Matador does have that Nano. Going to be put onto Rusty likely very soon. Trying to secure this point through this choke.
Oh, Hacks though, and gets taken out of the fight early. So there's no Nano available here, Gio. Rusty still does find the Lucio, but without that Nano for that engage, or even at least an Arna to be able to peek down, throw a nade for that sustain, it looks like Nymphicus have to reset here, and it might be some staggered kills coming through, which could be detrimental in this upcoming fight.
Yeah, James again coming up massive. We saw them do incredibly well on the Sombra previously as well, and with this EMP coming up, they'll be able to sustain this fight, this push for their team, Coconut Crew. If they can win this next fight, they'll take the lead and be very close to that forward spawn.
Here's the Nano. Mastor gets traded out for it, and without Rusty finding a lot of value from it, it's almost like that Nano was in vain. Kizo has the rally, but that's all the support gone from Nymphicus. That's Matador and Kizo out of the fight. They've traded out for Neo, but with the beat from Demeso keeping Coconut Crew up, they have the sustain required, and Nymphicus just does not have that.
Yes, but if Nymphicus can back up now and regroup, they can engage before the forward spawn gets unlocked, and Coconut Crew have already thrown a lot of their big ultimates at them, and they can come in with either that pulse bomb to open or that overclock. There's opportunities here, but you do not want them to get this forward spawn. That's what you need to stop.
Dive coming out very early, going to disable that with the rally. Does stun up Moy for a second, but is able to still prop that primal. Really doing a great job, that rally, at keeping up the backline and make sure Matador does not fall. Coconut Crew collecting back, though.
Yeah, that rally held in against the Primal Rage, which Moai has been able to turn fights with, so an intelligent usage of it. And now we're looking at one of these teams is very close to unlocking their forward spawn. These next fights are incredibly crucial to win for both sides. iQuack does have the overclock, but watch you don't get hacked out by James.
Yeah, they've been so good at disabling ultimates early. Here comes the overclock. iQuack. We've seen fantastic things from the Farah, from the Widow, and from the Ashe, and does not fail to just create that pressure. I mean, you can see how scared Coconut Crew really are of them. And made great space for Nymphicus to follow up on some damage, and it looks like they get the lead and possibly the butt scratch.
They will get that butt scratch. That forward spawn unlocking is nothing to scoff at. That's a situation that puts them in a nice, solid, advantageous position, and now they can take it at their own pace. They don't need to rush too hard, especially since they've expended some of their ultimates, and James is in the back line. Oh. No.
Yeah, I mean, James was getting really, really damn close to that EMP, and taking him out of the fight is definitely given Nymphicus a nice big breath of fresh air to be able to gulp down their lungs and say, thank goddamn God James in our backline with an EMP. And they're able to snowball through Esperanza with it.
Every meter counts here that they get to push so close to winning the grand finals to get revenge and take out the top team of Coconut Crew. It's there, it's right before them, but they do have to watch out. James is definitely going to be looking to get into the back here with a nice EMP.
Oh, what a whip shot! Did you see that, Gio?
Yeah.
Oh my God, but what I'm seeing now is an EMP. I mean, we were so happy about that EMP, but I mean, yeah, once that ultimate comes through, it's scary, and it can just win a fight.
Yeah. Yeah, the pulse bomb was whipped away, like you said, but of course that just opened up some space for the real win condition, which was that EMP. Now, Coconut Crew, they're going to be swinging around to get that forward spawn, but Nymphicus already have theirs. They're going to be there and ready to fight here. If Coconut Crew can win here, they can really equalize this map. It's really important for them to win this next fight. They need to win this next fight.
Nymphicus have a deep ultimate pull here. Kizo popping that rally first. A big anti-nade cast onto Coconut Crew, but look at the rush and the primal swinging so damn fast. Oh my god. That's crazy.
Yeah. That was that was swing. That was so much swing
really
that there was a
silly.
lateral swing playing while it happened. And that's exactly what you need. Who thinks of doing a combo like a Kitsune Rush Primal Rage other than Coconut Crew, who know Moai will pop off with it? Unlocking this forward spawn really nullifies the fact that Nymphicus were able to do theirs. Now, of course, they do now need to get the lead, but they're not in so much of a panic for it.
Yeah, and they do have the Nano Alliance. They do have really good resources at claiming that space back, and Matt's also be holding on to it as Rusty opens up with the Primal. Lyquac, as consistent as ever, does find Miku nice and early, which is going to nullify the pressure onto Matador, which means he probably won't even be forced to use the Nano in this fight, Gio.
Yeah, you can win this neutrally, and we've said it time and time again. Nymphicus are so good at holding in a neutral fight without using any of the ultimates that would secure them one. I mean, they did use the Primal, but that didn't really find them too much. Of course, Miku going to be opening with a pulse bomb early. Needs to get Lyquac out of this if they can, and they do. Yeah. That's a nice advantageous position. Miku is a monster.
God. Cleaning up, and that's the overclock Gonjio. So all that Nymphicus really have to work with is a Nano. I think you don't really want to use it here as your core is mainly down, and yeah, it looks like a really nice fight win built off Miku.
Rusty has been able to push the bot enough that the forward spawns are going to unlock. Now, he won't likely get it himself. Actually, no, he might actually get that forward spawn. Yeah, that little mishap there of not contesting the bot might bite Coconut Crew in the behind there. Oh, James looking for the MP. Knows where they are.
Here it comes, 3 caught, Whis, Lyquac, Matador, all hacked up, EMP cast, and they are feeling the backhand of it. Both rallies, only one rally, sorry, cast down, because I'm sorry, it's just so good. I'm seeing double Kizo popping that. Trying to disable Moai with those whip shots and the stuns in that rally. And they used the Nano as well, I think, onto Rusty to try to keep him alive. Pulse Bomb from Miku, not able to find as much value as it had before. And the picks are coming through. And yeah, off the back of that play in the previous fight from Rusty, stealing the ball, I mean, Nymphicus are able to hold strong.
Another mishap from Coconut Crew was they didn't push it past the midpoint. That entire fight, Nymphicus had forward spawn. And it was for complete free. It was for complete free. And Rusty's just going in deep here with the Primal Rage. Yeah. And that's going to allow them to get to where they were before. Start to push to that final corner. 1 minute remaining. It's starting to look real tough for the Coconut Crew. Nymphicus well on their way to the final conclusion of their revenge arc here.
I just love how calm and collected Nymphicus seem when you look at their ult rotation. They're just so smart about it. They know exactly when to use these ults. Now, Lyquac having that overclock, he's sitting on that high ground. He's looking down that choke. He's looking for the heads. Kitsune Rush casted there from Neo as well. They're trying to look to move forward onto point.
Good hating so far.
Cast after big slam. There's a big monkey body slamming down onto your skull. The backline may be gone. So maybe no, I mean, but there's the backline for Coconut Crew. They've been squashed. They're a coconut smoothie now, Gio.
Yeah, for sure. We have just learned that they're berries, so I imagine that you can put coconuts in this movie. Obviously not the hard shell. Anyway, I digress. 5 seconds remaining. Final fight territory. Nymphicus have such a strong lead here. Coconut Crew have an absolute journey ahead of them. If they want to try and win this map out, win this grand finals, final fight, well decided very soon. Nymphicus on the edge of glory.
Coconut Crew need an absolute miracle, but Nymphicus are there, holding themselves strong at the gate of victory. Whis opens things up, and Anti-Native goes well off, passed on to Moy. The beat barely comes in time, and Rusty actually does find the backhand of that. The sustain and the Reaper, close range on that bot is very scary for the side of Nymphicus. They have to look to kite back and not let Coconut Crew build up the momentum.
Yes, well, they've won one fight. They now need to win 2 more because those forward spawns are going to come in for Nymphicus and set them up for a nice forward fight. And of course, you're looking at the Primal to push them off the bot. You're looking at the rallies to sustain, but you're coming up to Kitsune Rush inside of Coconut Crew, and we saw what happened on Ilios. James with that Reaper can get a lot done with it, even without a Blossom.
They can charge up that Kitsune Rush and have that Reaper. If they utilize that correctly, they can get so much damn potential snowballing. Rally comes out and Whis is taken early. Primal is cast, but already Rusty's so low. There's the Reaper in the Kitsune Rush. Coconut Crew are making miracles happen. Demeso has fallen. It might be the end of it. There's the Blossom. James finds Iquack.
Iquack went so far forward with the overclock, got taken out.
There's the Nano. Rusty has been cast with that Nano. Matador said, I'm trusting this in you, my friend, my tank,
Nymphicus.
climbing through the ranks, through the lower bracket. Nymphicus take it. They are your PCEU Masters Division Grand Champions here, taking the claim in the Grand Finals.
What a series. Out goddamn standing. It's incredible.
I am standing, Gio. I am standing.
These teams fought so hard. It was so close for Coconut Crew. It was one fight. It came down to one fight at the end there. But Nymphicus, they are your final winners. They are your champions. They have defeated the team that beat them in the mid-season, and now they stand tall. They soar high into the sky, and I'm sure they're feeling pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to just the synergy, and the ult rotation was so damn good for them. I mean, Rusty really came through on that monkey. I think was really the key to it all. He was, I mean, we got to obviously talk about Havana as well, really being a fantastic pivoting point for them, where Rusty stepped up on the ball, something we hadn't really seen, that we had seen from him before. That proved to be good, but not carry potential. And on Havana, we saw that carry potential, and they built that momentum up. They passed it through, kept it going into the final map, where they did manage to get the win.
Yeah, and let's have a little look at the log of what we went through. Tartic started us with a Coconut Crew, but Nymphicus turned it around, taking us on King's Row with a well-executed plan, and then beating on Shambali Monastery, which was the choice of Coconut Crew. Coconut Crew brought it back on Calesio, and that's when things started to turn on its head yet again, as we headed to Ilios, where Coconut Crew swept, and things were looking dire. But you're so right, Havana was the tipping point. It's what Nymphicus needed to win. They didn't complete the map, but they held first point. It's what everyone wanted from them. And, of course, that Esperanza went the distance. Coconut very close to bringing back a very large deficit. But in the end, Nymphicus held in, and they're your champions. So condolences to Coconut Crew, but congratulations to Nymphicus. We will be having an interview from Matt from Nymphicus after a short break, so don't go anywhere, and you'll hear from one of your newly crowned champions.
Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours.
Our insight here, you get an insight and you know something, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and he'll spoil the whole thing for you, you know? But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. We have a wonderful guest here from the winning team of Nymphicus, Matador. Hello.
Hello.
So, obviously, first off, congratulations.
Thank
Winning the grand finals is great. Having that awesome underdog story is amazing. And just as a general question, what is the vibe of the team? What was the reaction like when you guys did get that victory?
Oh, it was hype AF. Not to swear. Yes, we were very, very excited and honestly quite glad that it was over. Because during the games we did have some tough times. But yeah, we managed to pull back, really focus up at the end, and bring out the victory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what my first question is going to be about. This series went as far as it could. I mean, without a draw, of course, but even Kings Row came close to a draw. In these long series where it's back and forth, and you were up against it for a moment for two of those matches, it was match point against you. What's the team vibe? What gets you through those long series like this?
Well, yeah, we just have to realize that we're here for fun. We have to, focus up, play our game, play what we know, and we know that we can beat them if we just, keep doing like what we usually do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just keeping it to what you've practiced is definitely going to get you through. And you're absolutely right. It's community tournaments. Ultimately, it's a for fun tournament, so it's definitely something to keep aware of. You seemed very prepared though on Kings Row, that you TP'd exactly where their Ana would be. Is that something that was specifically designed for Coconut Crew, or is that just something that was up your sleeve?
That is a strat that we actually stole from one of the EMC teams, one of the console teams. They used it against us in the very first round, and we were like, "Hey, that's a pretty cool strat. Let's do that." And then we used it against Chalks, and it worked against Chalks, and then we used it against Coconut Crew, and it worked against Coconut Crew. So yeah, shout out to those guys.
Yeah. Well, don't change it if it's, what's the phrase again? I forgot. Don't fix it if
it's not broken.
Yeah, there you go. I remember things. So just as a final question, do you have any shout outs? Is there any specific shout outs you want to say about yourself or about your team?
Yeah, shout out to Nymphicus. Specifically Quack, myself, and Kizo, other members of Nymphicus. But a big shout out to Weiss and Rusty and Ushi, our manager, for subbing in for this tournament because we actually don't have a full roster. So we've been playing with 2 ringers this whole time. So yeah, it feels quite good to be able to win a tournament without actually scrimming with these people.
I mean, we talked about that as well. Like, impressive that you're able to do that. But we'll let you get back to your team and celebrate. And congratulations again on the victory.
Thank you very much.
Oof. Oh boy. Crumble. What a series. Iconic. Instantly. Instant classic. Like, I've talked about it before in CGL. A lot of the games I've casted, most of them have been 3-0s or 4-0s. I have been cursed.
Hey,
there was a 4-1. That's the best that me and Dex got. So perhaps now the curse isn't actually on me, but on the duo of me and Dex together. Yeah, because Hippie's producing this one, so it's not Hippie's fault either. So maybe I've transferred it onto Dex.
Yeah, let's hope so.
But yeah, what an amazing match! These players really played their heart out, and condolences to Coconut Crew, but second place is nothing to scoff at. An amazing match. Nymphicus are your champions, and congratulations to them. Thank you to the production crew, for whom this wouldn't have happened, and for everyone watching at home. All the observers were Little Joe, Unfeatured, Zeuser, Kha'Zix, and Lottie. You literally would not have seen the game if it wasn't for them. Yes, they are very important in the production, so thank you to them. And of course, like I mentioned, Hippie in production. And yet again, it's another broadcast, one of the last finals in this series of CGL, but I believe there is at least one more, so keep your eye on the socials for when that's going to be, and get watching that, because if this was amazing, then that other finals is going to be amazing. That's in the NA region. But alas, that's the end of tonight's broadcast. I've been Gio, joined by my wonderful co-caster, Crumble, and don't forget to laugh loud and love yourself, folks. Good night.